Derivative, Jill.
There she is. There she is.
Greetings and felicitations.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Hey, hello, and welcome to Plomeek Tea Time number 71. I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and I decided I wanted to see what kind of movie Pop Culture Curator would choose for a movie today, and because he is a curator after all, but also he doesn't want you to know this, but at the very beginning of the month, it was his birthday, and he yes.
So why'd you tell?
Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that bad to tell. Okay, nobody react to that. Please don't mention it again. I thought it was I thought it wasn't gonna be a big deal. I guess we're gonna have to talk about this movie anyway because it's what I chose, and I'm gonna cry now. He chose Timecrimes.
Well, yes.
From 2007.
Here we go.
My God. I'm so sorry, Pop Culture.
No, that was an accident. Total accident on my behalf.
Then it was perfectly timed.
I thought you got mad at me.
What is going on here?
Okay, so crisis averted. It was just a technical difficulty, not an insult to chivalry.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so glad it was just a technical glitch because this movie, I didn't expect it to be so disturbing. But it makes sense because Pop Culture Curator does love his horror. And it also has time travel. So what is this movie about? I'd never heard of it before Pop Culture Curator mentioned it. But before we get into the answer to that question, I also wanted to give a little airtime today to promote Tony from Stark of Iron because he's having a fundraising stream today at 3 p.m. Central, directly after my show for Suzanne Eckstein to repair her plumbing issues that have unfortunately left her without running water, and that's ridiculous. She should have that. So he's going to be having an amazing fundraiser 3 p.m. Central Time for that. And so I definitely support that going on. And anything that so while I'm not officially holding a fundraiser today, anything I make during the stream in super chats or memberships, I'll donate to Suzanne at Tony's show later today. And that includes the bit that YouTube will take from me. So I asked for the official donation link, but I haven't gotten it yet. So I don't know precisely how much she needs yet. But that's why this isn't the official fundraiser stream.
Very
I
cool.
didn't prepare for that. Thank you. So hopefully we get Suzanne's water running again because everybody should have that. But we're also going to talk about this movie called Timecrimes from 2007. And so that should be really interesting. And I want to say hello to people that we have in the chat and on the panel. So hello to Scotty R37. How are you today?
Hey, hola, because it's a Spanish movie. I'm well. I'm really excited about talking about this flick.
Yeah, me too. ¿Cómo está? Well, hey, and how are you doing, Pop Culture Curator?
As previously mentioned, there are technical difficulties occurring, so I'm sure Pop will check in.
Yes, I was having a bit of trouble, but the bug's out now. I was getting a lot of echoes. Sorry.
Oh, I made an error in typing earlier. I put plumping instead of plumbing.
Yes. I was curious about that.
Oops. Okay, I'll fix that. Let me repair that little error in spelling and grammar.
We're gonna batten her up. Big thanks, Ari Bavel. Hello, Ari, with 1999 super chat for the plumping. Exactly.
Well, great turnout for the chat today. Hello, everybody. Very cool.
For the plumbing.
Yes. It's good to see Taylor G. Now it's Taylor G. I've just shortened it all the way down from Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who. It's not even Matt G anymore. It's Taylor G. And pop culture curator.
And yeah, are you okay, culture curator? Yeah, he's having trouble.
I had audio issues earlier. I didn't hang up on you. Sorry, I was getting echoes, but I resolved the problem.
Oh, what a relief. I thought I made a mistake.
No, not on your side.
Mr. CCDV, dang! Not first, but first in our hearts.
Hello, Mr. CCDV.
Greetings from the Edge of Time, says Hail, the Edge of Time.
Oh, man. I make one spelling mistake, and that turns into this entire live stream.
Yeah. Welcome to the plumping. The plumpening.
We got to
Eggs Beatty.
Suzanne with their plumping.
I don't even, we just have to move on. Eggs Beatty is here. Hello all, and hello to you. James Caserta in the chat. I will certainly donate to her plumping. Never mind. You know what?
Well, but Aribabel did donate to her plumbing. Plumbing. So
yeah.
It's going to help her out. It is. It really is. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Eggs Beatty says, interesting choice of film. I know.
I hope you all enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So we've got a lot to talk about, namely time travel today.
Mainly time travel, but I don't know. And I think the time travel is near perfect.
And psychology.
Well, that's what do they say when you have a conceit of a film and then you hang the drama over it? It's like, as long as you can believe your clothesline, then everything will dry on the line. And in this, I think it does. First half of this movie, I was yelling at the screen, being like, Hector, you're an idiot.
Hector is an idiot.
Hector is an idiot. But then at the end of the movie, I was like, okay, all right, it all worked out. I didn't stop watching the movie because Hector was an idiot.
That's true. Me neither. Time travel red flag is out.
Yes.
Timey-wimey flags.
Timey-wimey crimes.
Timey-wimey crimes, yes. Yes, Suzanne's pipes need fixing. This is correct.
True.
Clear those pipes.
Gorilla's Random Thought says, Kapla, I'm here, hungover, but I'm here. Oh, you're here.
Glad to see you, buddy.
I'm so glad you're here.
Cheers, sir.
Yeah.
Hopefully at home rest to get off.
And he is 10,000. Oh. And Ariba Bell says, what's up, Let's See Nation?
Hello, Ari.
Yeah. And hello to Penny. Great to see you, Penny.
Penny.
And so I fixed my spelling errors. So anybody who was not here at the beginning of the live stream doesn't get to be in on the special joke that you guys get to be in on. You can shut up here at the beginning to see my spelling error. But I have corrected it. Any super chats will go to Suzanne today.
There is a super sticker from Taylor G, Matt G, Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, thank you, Matt G.
Yay!
Very kind.
Yay!
I didn't see what the sticker was, but
it's not a sticker. It's a super chat. It's a super chat with nothing written and with invisible. It's invisible.
Cheers.
My spelling mistake was better. I had an open panel live stream, but spelt it panel and forgot
Panel.
the P. Oh, Panel
Oh,
and forgot the P.
it happens to all of us.
Pano. Pano. All right. Well, yeah, there we go. That's funny. Yeah, that one would have been even worse. So I guess it could have been worse. Thank you, Gorilla. Thank you, Gorilla, for making me feel slightly better than that. So let's see what we're gonna play a video for Matt G and for Ariba Bell. I think I got a new one.
Ooh, it's a premiere. Hey, LDG. Good to see LDG in the chat.
Hello, LDG. Good to see you.
Kirk had quite the reputation as a ladies' man.
Not him. Spock.
There are always possibilities, Spock said.
I think I might like Spock a little bit.
I think you're a fan. That's what I heard.
Hey, yes, and yes, hello, LDG. I kind of interrupted that. You can't get hungover if you never stop drinking, says Mr. CCBB.
Tell me about
I
it,
don't
my
know.
friend.
Oh,
That is true.
I don't know. I've never found that as a remedy myself. It just doesn't seem like a good idea.
Oh, it's not. And it's more, it turns into a marathon and eventually everybody gets that runner's high and you just have to collapse. But, you can go a sizable amount of time not getting a hangover until you get one giant one.
Catches up to you, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The cumulative effects.
I'm kind of happy. Like a lot of people make fun of my
It's like going back in the
better.
time. It's kind of like going back in the time machine over and over again. The time travel machine over. Sci-Fi Mombi says howdy. Hey, Sci-Fi Mombi.
Hey, Mombi.
And hello to Larry. Larry's also here.
Hello there.
Larry.
All right. Where are my things? Here are my things. So this is a movie. It's a time travel movie. All right, let's see what I have. So what's disturbing about it is how much I kind of relate to Hector and Clara as a couple because they seem like a normal, everyday kind of people. You never suspect, Hector turns into what he turns into. It's kind of terrifying what he buys into.
Right. They seem like just an average middle-aged couple, and he gets it in too deep before he knows it. By the time he realizes it, there's nothing he can do. There's no going back.
Yeah. And it just depends on whether or not the audience buys into that personality change he goes through.
Yes.
And so later on, after we've discussed this movie, I'm going to put up a poll. So later on, you'll be able to answer the question: do you buy Hector's personality changes throughout this movie? But before we get to that question, I want to give just a brief spoiler-free review because we're going to spoil the hell out of this. We have to talk about it. This is a very disturbing movie, as I said before, because you can see these people as your actual next-door neighbors. And seeing what happens to Hector is really creepy. The time travel isn't too complicated as it is in some movies. Some just like to just throw you for a loop and just make it sound confusing. But this one is actually, it lays it out in a very elegant way. It's kind of funky. It's predetermined in a way, but strangely predetermined. Usually when I think of predetermined, everything's like an accident, but this is like, this is more deliberate.
Yes.
And it happens because it's always supposed to happen, but in a way that really messes with Hector's mind.
A predestination paradox.
Yes. But before we get into that, this is where we're going to spoil it. So if you wanted to watch it first, it's apparently free on Tubi, so you could see it there. But we're going to talk about everything. And so there's Edge of Time. He's here. Hello, Edge of Time. So let's talk about it.
Hello there.
And well, this is a Spanish film, so I can't say I know these people. But Nacho, He's the director. He acts in this movie, and he also he also wrote it. So he did everything, and I didn't know. I just like to eat nachos. I didn't know people were actually naming nachos.
And I think he's on the bigger, better things too as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
This
he
movie,
has. That's awesome.
a lot of parallels in this movie to Back to the Future. You'll notice a lot of familiarities. Well, Back to the Future and the original Time Machine.
And
Yeah, I
it
really
really
didn't even
starts.
think about that.
It starts off in such an innocuous way, just with this starting off at a grocery store, Walmart, essentially, with a pile of stuff. I thought that they're renovating a house, as we'll soon discover. But just start off somewhere completely mundane and normal, and then build on that. And it does very much. It's a building film. It burns slowly,
But did he forget to close his door? Or did the door just break and all the stuff fell out?
Yeah,
my theory is that he overloaded the back and probably went over a bump and something caught a handle or something.
Possible.
There's a time machine in this movie. Does it matter how the trunk opened?
It's just the first instance that we see that Hector might not have all of his crayons sharpened.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes, he is a little aloof.
Well, and he's obviously, no, it's Saturday, so he didn't go to work. Why is he wearing a suit to go to the grocery store?
Hey, we're talking to Scotty R37, who wears a suit to Walmart also. So
this is true. This is true.
What are we arguing here now?
Yeah, fair enough. I'm as dumb as Hector.
I didn't say that. Well, he did a chore for his wife, so he has a good heart at the beginning, and so it's like he can't nap, and that's the worst thing when you're really tired.
I'm trying to remember, is it a happy occasion, like maybe an anniversary or something?
Oh, was it their anniversary?
I don't remember that. I should remember that, but sorry, go ahead.
It's just I don't know how long they've lived here, or if this is a new house that I guess it's a new house because they're
no one
either
has the phone
it's new
number.
or they're definitely renovating it.
Yes, but you're right. It drops us right. No the action, no explanation, no build up. So I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true because it gets right into the story. That's true. It doesn't make you wait around. Well, and at the runtime, it's not a difficult movie to get through because I'm used to watching all these movies that are 2 hours to 3 hours long, and I am up all night. And this one didn't take so long to get the sides for it.
Yeah, it has good pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, and Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who, sends a membership chat for 6 months saying,
"Oh,
Jill, and Imagine." All right. Mr. CCDV says, "I'm pretty sure I'm time traveling to the future right now." Wait, what? Like you're in a spaceship or something going faster than the speed of light?
No. We're all time traveling into the future right now.
Well, not really. I mean, it's not
slowly.
Yeah. Still travel.
We're
walking.
Yeah.
We're not taking machines.
Oh my god. Yeah, right. It's not it. Well,
still time
if
travel.
living is just time, if living is time traveling, then what makes time traveling special?
Well, the ability to sort of skip over or skip back.
So then it's not time travel. It's just living.
It is. Yeah.
Time is passing, I guess. But I don't know. It's strange.
I know. Well, it's going to come up when we're talking about a time travel movie. We're going to get into a lot of these little hiccups about, chronology.
Time management
manipulation. Time management crimes. Actually, he manages his time really well. I'm
He
surprised at the
does.
amount of head injuries that he's had. He
I
can be like, okay, I
agree.
got to do this.
The ticking
You know
clock.
what I like is out of all the time travel movies we've always seen, there's always that underlying uh, worrying because whoever the time traveler is always warned, beware, don't mess up this or that, or you could create a time paradox. And we've seen movies kind of hint on that, what a paradox could be. But this movie totally fleshes it out and elaborates on it. The whole movie is based on that, which I found thoroughly enjoying.
I actually I didn't see any paradoxes in this movie. This one is a time travel movie.
No, I'm talking
that
about
doesn't.
I'm talking about as far as screwing up time and then wishing you can go back and fix it and not being able to.
Mhm. Right. And well, he's able to. He decides he has to do everything exactly the same way that it happened.
Right.
To make what he's observed in his first iteration.
Yep.
And so
Well,
he determines his own future and his own past. Oh my goodness.
This is very telling of Hector's personality on its own, is that he is in this renovated house trying to take a nap, can't take a nap. And then he picks up his binoculars and starts looking around and then decides to go outside to continue just looking into the woods with binoculars. Is he looking for birds? What is he looking for?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it just seems like he's bored. He's just playing with his binoculars. And
oh, right. Okay. No TV. They show a TV that's not on. So the radio works. That's pretty much the only thing he has.
Well, the very first thing that happens that's of any importance is that the phone rings. And Clara, he tries to get Clara to answer it, but she isn't paying attention, which makes sense because when I'm doing my hobbies, I can't hear anything until you snap me out of it.
Well, it's also weird because I've always had this thing where it's like if the phone is ringing, the person who is closest to the phone has to answer it. So to call the person from outside and be like, the phone's ringing. It's like, yeah, the phone's like right over there, yo. Pick it up.
Yeah, that was the days of the old landline where the closest person would grab the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the purposes of this movie, he doesn't do that, and he gives up on getting her attention and answers the phone himself. And he calls that number back because nobody responds. And so when he calls it back, it says, "This is the restricted terminal." And he leaves a message that this number called him. But he's like, "Oh, hey, I got a phone call from this number." But figures out he figures out
no, he
nothing
drops
at
the
this
phone.
point.
He drops the phone, and then
That's
his
true.
wife comes in for sexy time, and the phone is still recording the message, which take notes. This will come in handy later.
Well, yes, she is enjoying herself. And
They both do.
finally he hangs up after they've talked for a while.
Or he notices the phone off the hook or whatever on.
Yeah, and like Edge of Time says, madness takes its toll. It sounds like Edge of Time saw this movie.
We're into the time slip.
There's where he sees the phone and he hangs it up.
Like everything about this movie is set up and payoff. I love it.
Yeah, and so Clara finishes assembling the table without regard for whether or not this thing is going to get through the door. And yeah, so she didn't deal with those logistics, and I know what that's like. So it's all a bunch of relatable things until you get to this part.
Well, but this is what I'm saying, and it's like I did do a little bit of research, and I think it was one reviewer, because this is basically the inciting incident, is seeing this lady's boobies, and that makes Hector sort of want to venture into the woods, which he does, and the movie happens. But it does make you think of, so Hector's a perv, he has these binoculars, and the only thing that gets him off his butt is when he sees this naked lady. That
Yeah.
that black bar is too small. It should be wider, but I appreciate that it's smaller.
Well, and
Unfortunately, YouTube won't allow us to do that.
Of course, it's a foreign film.
No
It's
fun.
artistic. All right.
Yeah, artistic value.
well, that's what happened the last time when I had a French movie. Is there were also nipples, and so a Spanish movie also. It's just all right. Here we go. It's just a thing. It exists.
But I was taken aback, and it was like, okay, so how are we going to get this guy into a time machine? And then it was like, oh look, a topless woman. That'll do.
Well, first of all, Clara goes out to go get a roast chicken, and so she's gone for a while during the movie, and we don't know when she comes back. And so this kind of creates kind of a discrepancy with the time. Like when does she come back? I don't know.
Well,
right.
Notice she's wearing the. Sorry.
Go ahead. Pop. I was just going to say, notice how her name's Clara, the same name as the love interest in Back to the Future, Mary Steenburgen's character.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But notice that she's wearing the red coat. And so take notes. That'll be important later.
Yeah, the red coat is very important. And hey, hello to John De La Garza. He says this was a really neat Spanish movie. I remember seeing it years ago.
Oh, very cool. Welcome, John. Glad you've seen it.
Hey, John.
Thanks for joining us.
I remember seeing the trailer for this film in front of another film at the movie theater and thinking that would be really cool to see. And I completely forgot about it until you brought it up, Pop. And I'm glad that I got a chance to see it.
So
I watched it like literally an hour ago. So the movie right now in the conversation is like, oh, you went back in time an hour. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm writing the movie Cube, where it promotes and sparks a lot of debate afterwards.
Nice.
So when a movie does that, that's always a good thing.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about, but for now, we're just as confused as Hector after seeing that lady do that. Just take off her shirt for seemingly no reason, and so he's investigating with his binoculars.
As you do.
Yeah. And I don't have any problem with this Hector, but then things happen.
So you're okay with pervy Hector, but you don't like murder Hector.
Right.
Okay.
Well, okay,
he doesn't really murder anybody.
Well, I don't know about that.
He manipulates the events in which he causes.
But I'd say that one of the Hectors is a murderer, but we'll see. We'll see if anybody agrees. Do you think that at the end of the movie
I'm sure the people in the chat are saying what?
Yeah, we should get.
Well, okay, so yeah, right. This is confusing. So he finds the feet of the girl. She doesn't. Now she's completely nude. So startled by this, Hector falls over. So this is a series of events of a movie of a man who just cannot keep his balance.
True.
He just keeps falling. Well, no. Okay, hang on a second.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I guess he does have one major tumble in every instance of his story.
He's clumsy, right? Kind of fits his character.
He is the Jar Jar Binks of Timecrimes.
He's chucking things at her to try to get her attention, but she's knocked out or asleep, so we don't get any interaction beyond this at this point, because someone comes out of nowhere for no reason and stabs him with some scissors. And Hector runs. Right. It's just a completely normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Hector runs, and this man with the bandages catches up to him, and he stalks him, and he messes with him, and he mocks his use of the binoculars.
The closest thing that there is really to a jump scare in this movie too.
Yeah.
And
this turns into something funny later in the movie. So everything you see at the beginning of this movie comes back later, and you start to understand what's going on. And some of it they somehow turn into humor.
Oh yeah, it is a dark humor, but it's certainly it's clever. I chortled.
Mm-hmm. Hypothesis from Edutime says a watchable time travel film. I'm cautiously optimistic. Mr. CCDV says, chicken. You made me hungry. Well, yeah, she lost the bet that she could get her table that she assembled through the door, and she couldn't, so she had to go get the chicken. It's just like a normal marriage kind of deal. But now Hector's panicking because he's been stabbed and chased and mocked by this guy.
Yes.
So, and also this movie is also a series of Hector jumping over fences. Hector.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
Fences. Lots of fences are harmed in the making of this movie.
See, and it wasn't his fault that he fell. It's because the fence broke. Now, here's the thing. Is it going into this movie, I knew that the guy who was mocking Hector was Hector. Like, the trailer gives it away completely.
Well, I didn't watch the trailer. You watched the trailer, and the trailer gives it away.
I didn't know. You get the sense that it's like, oh, okay, so this guy's chasing himself through different times. Like,
I didn't get that.
Give itself away.
I didn't watch the trailer, so I didn't get it until he breaks into this building and starts putting bandages on his arm. That's the moment.
Oh, really?
I knew. Okay. That's the moment I knew. But this is important. This calendar that's turned backwards with the little squiggly line.
It's better than spaghetti. Just in reference to the Flash movie trying to explain time travel with spaghetti. This is much more straightforward.
Oh yeah, I don't like spaghetti time travel.
But it's so like I was kind of incredulous when I was watching this part. It starts off in like a restaurant, and then he goes through a door and it's a lab. I was just like, what is this facility?
It's like a house and a medical center and a laboratory.
Yeah. And it is in the middle. It's well, I wouldn't say the middle of nowhere, but it's, rural.
Well, this movie takes place in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in a forest.
But and this was one of those things where I was like watching this and I was like, there's no truth in this art. I don't believe anything that's happening. Why? What? And it was like, and it wasn't until as I was sort of going through the movie and understanding, because it's not really told to you. You get to experience it. It's shown to you. And that's what was engaging about it. Once I turned off my skepticism.
I was already confused why he would, I got stabbed by some scissors. I'm going to go, if it were me, I'd go directly home and call the police. But he says, oh, I'm just going to go to this strange building and throw a rock at it.
Well, I think, so he was trying to get over the fence and the fence broke. He fell over, as you mentioned. It's Hector versus gravity. And he is knocked out and he looks up and he sees the building and he goes towards it. He's sort of drawn to it. So I think it's more out of a, disorientation than rational thought.
Are you saying
I'm saying he just got stabbed. He's probably losing blood and he just fell off of a fence and knocked his head. There's a lot of this that I
so he's not thinking straight right from the beginning.
Could be disoriented.
Yeah. It was the building itself that I didn't understand. I was like a restaurant with a lab. And then eventually it gets sort of explained. It's a facility.
The pizza trees are blooming in space 1999 live stream. This episode.
Ooh.
Pizza trees. I don't remember that. I guess I haven't seen Space 1999. I guess I need to. If I want to know what pizza trees are. I'm pretty sure tomatoes grow on vines and wheat grows in the ground.
Yes, but imagine if there was one plant that produced the fruit of pizza. It's like a Mario level.
I got a cough now.
Sure. But yeah, and so, but again, this is in terms of the narrative, it does, everything builds upon what you've already seen, and it becomes more enjoyable as the film goes on. You do have to sort of suspend your disbelief, because then everything falls into place. You're just waiting for it, which is great.
Right. So I didn't know where I was. You see an X-ray of a lizard, so you're like, is this a veterinary office? What's going on? And then he puts the bandage on his really nasty looking wound. There's some good makeup effects in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
walking through lab.
Right. Now he finds the lab.
So would you guys say this somehow remind you of Groundhog Day?
Somewhat. I can see how it somewhat would be, but I like the avoidance of Hector 1. Let's get to Hector 2, and then
actually, Groundhog Day is a time loop. This one is loopy, like time is loopy, but it's more like you perpetuate the loop, and Hector is perpetuating it.
Yes.
And he descends further in the building, and we get our next very important prop, which is walkie-talkie. And he's telling the man who responds to him that somebody was trying to kill him, and he instantly, for some reason, trusts this man right away. And one piece of set design I like is this giant circuit board that we never see again. It's coming up in a little bit.
Well, and it did bother me a little, because he picks up the walkie-talkie. The guy says, "How did you get this walkie-talkie?" And then he says, "Okay, stay where you are. I'll be right there." And it's like, how do you know where he is? It's a walkie-talkie. Like if it had been a landline or something. Yeah, because yes, that's true. That's true. But at this point, I'm like, this is stupid. How did you get the walkie-talkie?
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at this point.
It reminds me more of Bill and Ted than anything else. It's like, I'll just leave a thing that says this there, and then you drop the garbage can on their heads.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit like Bill and Ted. You know what? It is more like Bill and Ted than Groundhog Day. In terms of, okay, so we know this has to happen, so let's do this thing so that the thing that happens needs to happen. Happens. It's a predestination paradox, says Gavin Blackburn. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Gavin.
So I was hoping this circuit board was going to do something later, but it didn't. Well, it looks fun.
Is that the circuits for the lights that lead up to the silo?
I don't know. I feel like it's like a big design. Like, hey, this is how we're going to do this. It's not the actual. I don't know. No, they don't explain any of the actual science fiction in this movie. None of the time travel mechanics are really, except for how we see time travel occur. We don't know how the technology works at all, ever.
You need
okay.
white goo, 4 batteries, and a tank.
White goo.
It's true. Isn't that what he travels in? Yeah.
Correct. But we don't even know what that white goo is.
Well, no, we don't. We don't.
Milk? I don't know.
It could be. I didn't see any cows though.
So he's following the directions of what the guy's giving him on the radio.
Yes, and the guy. Okay, so let's call him the scientist, because we find out eventually he's a scientist. And so he says, the scientist says he's seen the bandaged man who's trying to kill Hector, because he has these security monitors, and that's weird. How Hector just trusts this guy implicitly. Just oh, hey, come to me, it'll be great. And so finally Hector gets the instinct that I would have had pretty soon, which was to call the police. But the scientist says he can't do it. There's no signal. So that's a common thread. You're stuck out here in the forest. And I guess that's a common thing in horror movies. You can't use your phone.
No
signal. Yeah, phone's down. Mm-hmm.
So nobody can contact the outside world. So this is a very self-contained movie. You have the forest, you have Hector's house, and you have the laboratory place.
And I
that's
figured out
basically the main sets.
I figured out what he was looking for. He was initially when he was bored, and he started using the binoculars to check the tree line. It's a new house. They just moved in, and they are renovating it. Because the first thing that interests Hector into investigating more is there's it almost looks like an antenna kind of thing. And he's like, I wonder what that is. And he starts looking around with the binoculars, and then that's when he sees the topless lady. So anyway, everything is logical in terms of Hector's investigation, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so the scientist has Hector follow the lights, but then the stalker, the bandage guy. Well, okay, we already said it's also Hector.
Yeah,
it's
Hector 2.
Hector 2. Well, yes, we haven't named him yet. We haven't named him yet, but yes, he's Hector 2. And he's following him. And so you actually do feel like I didn't know why Hector 2 was following Hector 1 at this point. So it is kind of scary in terms of what's wrong with this other Hector. And why is he stalking him and stabbing him? So, and his guide, the scientist loses the camera footage. And so that's what's scary about it. But Hector asks to have the lights turned off, and the stranger lets Hector into his building. And the horror music does ramp up here, so you do feel the danger of the stalker, because that's how it's built up, that Hector 2 is dangerous.
Yes.
And
I think he's being pushed very specifically into the machine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and PvP's here. He says, I didn't find any of this logical. Well, not at the beginning, no. At the beginning, none of it makes any sense.
Hey, PvP. They explain it.
They do.
See, and I'm mad here because it's just one guy with a pair of scissors. Why don't you two take? It's 2 against 1. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you hiding? He knows you're in there. So I was just like, gang up on him. But that's not. Then again, you find out later. There's a reason. Mm-hmm.
There's reasons. Well, Hector's new friend says they're safe in that building, and in that building we see the time machine. I still don't know why Hector's trusting this guy so much, but the stalker scares Hector from the window, so he abandons all reservations and gets into the machine just like the scientist says to do. And the scientist promises, hey, I'll go into the machine with you, but he doesn't. It's full of this white water, and there's a flash, and now it's daytime.
Jill?
Yes?
It kind of looks like some kind of hot tub.
There he is.
It does, and you know what? I kind of like the hot tub time machine.
I love the hot tub time machine.
We could have done a dual review.
Well, this is the unofficial prequel. That is a young Chevy Chase.
Anyway. It's Nacho.
It's Nacho. Not mine.
It's scientist. They don't give him a name in the movie, or do they? I think there's a name in the credits, but I forget what it is.
I can look.
Yeah, it's in the credits, but I don't remember as far as in the movie.
I'll check.
I'll never think to look in here.
It's like, huh? Okay.
There.
So the scientist is looking for a subject, and he doesn't want to do it himself.
Right. He wants to experiment with this thing, but as we find at the end of the movie, he's not even supposed to be messing with this thing.
Right. He's not even. Yeah, exactly.
And but once we actually time travel, the scientist acts like he doesn't remember helping him get to the building, or
Yes.
he says he doesn't remember helping him. And he remembers promising him, he doesn't remember promising to get in the machine with him. And so now Hector has to deal with the notion that he's gone back in time. And this is, we're with Hector 2 now. Hector 2 has begun his journey. So Hector 1 becomes Hector 2, and Hector 1 is back at home, chilling on the lounge chair. And hello to Suzanne Eckstein. Great to see you.
Hey,
Suzanne. Good to see you, Suzanne.
And I'm doing I am promoting Tony's Stock of Iron show that will be on at 3 p.m. Central Time, which will be a fundraiser for Suzanne to get her water running again. And so anything I make here, yeah, good luck with that. And any little thing I make today will go to Suzanne, and we'll see if I might add something on top of that too once I get over there. And
outstanding.
Right. I'm going into a hot tub tonight, says Mr. CCD. He's going to, okay, so we are planning Mr. CCDV's night. He's going to have a roast chicken, and he's going to go into a hot tub.
Yes. And he's going to watch Timecrimes. Actually, he said he saw it. Didn't CCTV say he saw it? Nacho. Sure. Nacho is Spanish for the young man. So Nacho played the young man.
Oh,
that is what his character is credited as in the on the IMDb.
Well, that's the name of the director. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And
there you go.
This so the scientist asks why if the tank had liquid. But I don't know. The only information we get from him is that this time machine is a prototype. And of course we get to see Hector 2 discover Hector 1.
And that's the shot of the antenna or the tower that he was sort of looking at to begin this whole shenanigan. Hey, Suzanne.
Mm-hmm. And so he sees his wife gardening again. He sees himself bringing the shopping to her again. And the table that she's going to build and not be able to fit through the door.
Right, so he went back to yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, he's watching himself from the past play out events from earlier in the movie.
Yes.
So only now that all these wacky things happen does he finally decide, oh, maybe I should go home and call the police. But he can't do that now because he is not the right Hector, says the scientist. And if you just sit tight, everything will be fine. Hector is basically what I get from him. He's just saying, chill out. It'll all fix itself. Just don't
it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah, so at this moment, if Hector just sat in the grass and waited, the Hector 1 would vanish, I think, and then the timelines would merge and everything. I'm not sure.
If you choose to believe the scientist.
If you choose to believe the scientist, if the scientist is correct.
Right.
So this is what he was suggesting. So I don't know. But of course, that would be a more boring movie.
Yeah, very
So since this is not a boring movie, one important thing is that the day in the movie is September 16th, 2006.
Thank you.
And it takes Hector a while to get used to the fact that he's gone back in time. And just that Hector met him. Okay, so Hector meets the scientist at the silo. And yeah, so the scientist just says, just wait. But he doesn't. And so let's see what happens next with the slides. Everybody saying hello in the chat and exchanging pleasant Greetings. It's better not to know the details. I'll get him into the machine. Yeah, the scientist believes everything will be back to normal if he just sits tight. But no, there are the keys, and he's just like, okay, I'm gonna get in this car now. I'm not just gonna sit tight. We're gonna go. And one thing I missed in my slides is that he grabs a calendar we saw earlier and examines the glass that he hasn't broken yet.
Oh yes.
And
yes.
this other guy explains everything. He draws a squiggly line to explain how time travel works in this movie. So I think let's go back. Where is that? Where is that?
Somewhere
maybe
there.
I didn't catch it. No. Yeah, I missed that slide. But it's just a squiggly line, and where one of the lines goes back, that's where your original self existed as it always did. Hector 1 is always Hector 1. However, when you go back in time, Hector 2 is made. And he shouldn't interact with Hector 1, but he could because they're both existing in the same timeline.
True.
And the scientists will wait for Hector 1 to show up later to get him to go to the past. And so that's where Hector 2 thinks, wait a minute, how am I going to get myself to show up later to the silo if I don't do the things that make Hector 1 get to the silo?
Exactly.
And that's how he figures that's the only way he's going to fix things is to make sure that Hector 1 does exactly what Hector 2 did when he was Hector 1.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah, very simple, right? PvP says I just couldn't make any sense of this movie. Too convoluted for this cowboy. Watching this reminds me of why I generally avoid time travel films. And Hector is constantly an idiot throughout the film. It seems to me I couldn't feel sorry for the guy. Yeah, I can understand that. Mr. CCDV says, right, 2006. I'm pretty sure I was in Colorado or Germany. I'm not sure which. Yeah, I was I was early in my college career myself. And I didn't even know this movie was not on my radar at all. I didn't know it was happening. Well, okay. I'm sure this picture is on the internet, so let's see it. Let's see if I can get it from Timecrimes 2007. It's like the main. It's like a big important image. Oh yeah, here it is. See, I knew it. Somebody would have it.
Cool.
Here. So this is the little squiggly line. Apparently, this is the timeline, and so this is Hector 1. When he goes into the time machine, he creates Hector 2 over here, and so Hector 1 and Hector 2 exist in the same timeline up until here.
Yes.
And then movie happens.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Thank you.
And the scientist isn't supposed to be there because the center is closed on the weekends. The day after the 16th is the 17th, which is a Saturday, according to the calendar. And so Hector 2. Okay, so this is where we find out that Hector 2 called Hector 1 and hung up on him. Hector 1 calls back and gets the machine like at the beginning. And the other guy says that if Hector 2 stops Hector 1 from getting into the tank, then Hector will die. And so that's why Hector 2 decides he has to do all these things.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, does Hector 1 have to go back in time again? I guess this guy thinks he can remerge the Hectors.
Possibly, yeah. That's possibly
already. That's the theory, anyway. He looks at some pictures and keys, and so he takes the keys. He leaves, and he finds a car parked in the woods So he drives to the gate. Like this. Okay, so this guy, Timecrimes, is very well well named movie because he jumps over fences. He's already stealing cars. He's Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, yes.
And so this time though, he uses the remote key to open the gate, and the gate automatically closes, and we see the girl on the bike. Hector 2
Yes.
stops his car, and then this other red car from out of somewhere just decides to knock the car into the forest. So the red car knocks Hector 2's car into the forest, and he hits a tree. And this is where he sustains his major brain injury.
Well, it's a head injury. We don't know if he probably has a concussion.
He has a concussion. Something happened. Well, something is happening to his brain because of the cinematography, right? There's his head
that's
hurt.
true. The way they shot it, yes, I would agree.
And we see the pink blood, and so something changes with him here. I'm sure of it.
I think it's more of a realization that he has to fulfill the role of the raggy man.
Yeah, okay, so I agree with PvP here. The only character I felt sorry for was the poor lady on the bicycle that helped Hector and ended up being killed for her compassion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
Yeah.
She's completely innocent, and that's the personality change that I don't like seeing in Hector.
It says crimes right in the title.
It does. Well, and he's starting off slow with some Grand Theft Auto, as I was saying.
Yeah, trespassing,
jumping fences, and yeah. So when the first time watching this movie, I'm like, where did this car come from? But we find out later. I knew it. The Cure came out 2 years after I got the disease. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Anyway, the Hector 2 was just stalling in the middle of the road. The other car crashes into him, knocking him into the woods, and Hector 2's face is all bloody now. And he's hit his head. So he takes the bandage off his arm and starts cleaning his head wound. So now the bandage guy, he becomes the bandage guy. But does he do this deliberately? Is he like, oh, now I know what's happening, I'm gonna keep wrapping my head? Or is he just trying to stop the bleeding?
Both. Also, there is a weird thing that happens too when he takes off his bandage, because that originally came from his arm, and
and it seems to grow.
Well, it's bleeding out, but it's also got some of that time travel juice in it as well, and so there is almost like almost what happens to Henry Jones in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade when he gets the water on his gunshot wounds from the Holy Grail. It's like it's sort of peroxide and bubbles up, but that's how he's bleeding, and so there could be some sort of physiological change based on the time travel. The young man does say, we have to get you inside so I can examine you. You're the first vertebrate to travel through time.
Mm-hmm. Even though we see a lizard on the wall in the I don't know, in the laboratory, but I guess maybe it's not a lizard.
Maybe it wasn't successful.
Anyway, but the point of what you're saying is that his blood is red, and whatever was in the time travel machine was white, and the red and the white is making the bandage pink.
Yes.
And
this is this nice lady.
Yeah, she's the nice lady that PvP. Everybody feels sorry for this lady.
Yes. No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, well, this is the girl from the bicycle. We don't ever get her name either, but she wants to help. She wants to call an ambulance. Her phone doesn't have a signal, so So she's going to find one. Scotty's analysis is making more sense of the film than the film itself did for me. Oh wow, I'm glad that he's helpful.
Thank you.
And so of course the scissors pop up. She helps him wrap the bandage better around him so it doesn't slip and unravel. So she's just nothing but helpful and nice. She wraps his bandages better than he did, and she has them because she was cutting her neighbor's hair.
Yes.
And she asked him to stay there and wait for her, but obviously he doesn't do that. He sees the knocked over trash can from before, and he asks for her help with something, and she put her bicycle where it was before too. And so we saw these things happen with Hector 1. And so Hector 2 finds this jacket that he saw, that Hector 1 saw Hector 2 where before. So he knows he needs it. So he puts it on. And he argues with the girl to go to the woods because he wants to find her the way Hector 1 found her, but she doesn't want to. So this is kind of where the morality comes into play here. He's asking her to do weird things that don't make any sense for her to do.
Right. But
and he doesn't explain any of the reasoning.
True.
Well, and there's not a lot of exposition. It's not him. He doesn't do one of those classic sort of, all right, think, what do I have to do? All right, I won't be here if yesterday me doesn't get into the time machine. So I've got to make it so yesterday me gets into the time machine so I can be here, and then I'll go home. I'll see Clara, and I'll say, I'm sorry I fell down in the woods. And that'll be the end of it. And unfortunately, I think he is doing this very specifically to make it so that his existence continues, because if he doesn't jump into the time machine, then he dies. So he has to make it so that he gets in the time machine. Although maybe he doesn't die. I don't know what happens. Everything is all sort of Tetrised together very well in the process. But I think that's his motivation here is he's like, okay, then I just have to get me in the time machine, a hot tub time machine.
Yeah, but he didn't explain any of this to her. So basically he's just telling her to get undressed, and she realizes this is fucking weird and makes a run for it. Yeah. And he falls
finally.
Right, exactly. Her alarm bells took a long time to go off. He falls again. He falls on his face again, and he bleeds some more. And he realizes he needs to get Hector 1 to the time machine. And the only way to do that, according to him, is to do all the things that led him here to begin with. Starting with the girl from the bike, getting undressed, even down to the detail of biting her left thumb. But she's right to run here, because this just seems really stupid.
Yes. Now, before you move on to the next slide,
yes.
If you go back to the last one, her T-shirt is a visual reference to Schrodinger's cat, because she herself is both alive and not.
Oh, that's right. That's a good point. I didn't think about that, because there's no box. But wow, well done, Scotty.
Oh no, I researched that. I didn't make it up. I didn't catch it myself. I just thought it was an interesting little tidbit.
I'm glad you found that trivia, because I missed that one. That's great. She is Schrodinger's girl on a bike. Oh, and so, but he threatens her with the scissors to do all the things that will get Hector 1 to the time machine. But this is okay. So this is Jill. The commentary that you're hearing is Jill while I'm watching the movie. I understand everything that happens by the end of this movie, but as I'm explaining it to you, it's going to sound like I don't understand it.
Okay, great. I can't wait.
This
review is kind of a time travel experience in itself. This is past Jill saying, I don't understand this. Why would Hector 1 going back in time think that going back in time again will fix things? Wouldn't it just make a Hector 3 or something? And yes, that is what happens. Hector 2 apologizes for having her do these weird things as if that's going to help. But He promises he's not going to hurt her. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want you to lose your clothes and be in the
take
woods.
off your pants. You can put them on after. That's not reassuring, sir.
No. He explains none of this to her, so of course she runs again, but this time without pants.
Yes.
So he tackles her and they fall, and she stops moving, so this knocks her out. And he gets rid of the binoculars and he lies her down without any clothes. So this is Hector 2 is all kinds of messed up. And so now he's definitely getting into, he was gone from Grand Theft Auto from trespassing to straight into sexual assault.
And kidnapping.
Mm-hmm. Right, because he moves her to a place that she did not say she wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that works. But he does this because he wants her to be the way he saw her at the beginning of the movie when he was innocent Hector just snooping around. And Hector 2, criminal Hector's arranging everything the same way as it was for Hector 1 to discover. And so just at the beginning, Hector 1 is just like at the beginning, Hector 1's throwing things at the girl again, and Hector 2 just happens to know he's supposed to stab Hector 1. Oh, but wait, let's pause on that one. To get the events to play out the same way again. So he can't, and also this is the funny part. He can't seem to do the trick earlier where he scared himself with the fake binoculars because Hector 1 is too far away.
I think
so. It takes him. What?
I thought he was doing it multiple times because he remembered that Bandage Boy had done it to him, and so he's trying to recreate it. And even there are differences in which it is done. And it's like, well, it's not going to be this one. You're looking at the wrong tree because we remember Hector 1 was hiding behind a tree, and so when he finally puts the scissors in his pocket in the same way that Hector 1 had seen him do it, because this is all third, like it's Hector's POV the first time around, Hector 1. And so he's like, okay. And when it looks like that again, and he does this spin around, but then when you get to Hector 2 and he does the spin around and you just see Hector run away, because we've already seen it from Hector 1's perspective. I thought it was really creative and well done.
I did, and I thought it was kind of amusing. It takes Hector 2 3 or 4 or 5 times of doing that before he gets it right. So I do like his commitment in that instance. But PvP thinks she broke her neck, but if she broke her neck, she'd be dead, or she wouldn't be able to run away anyway. She'd be crippled in some way, so she didn't break her neck. She runs away.
Or you can break your neck and not die. So.
Well, they do make a point of showing her when she's naked, and they don't do they don't do a booby shot on it. It's just like from her shoulders up, and they do show her breathing, and so she will. Don't worry, she does end up breaking her neck.
Well, oh yeah, right. She does end up breaking her neck, but not in this. At this point, maybe she damages her neck. That might be fair to say. You can hurt your nerve endings or tendons or whatever, but she's for whatever reason she's alive and she's able to run away. But I don't think if it was, I don't know. I guess if you can run away with a broken neck, she seems to come back from it pretty strong. She's Superwoman then. I don't know.
I was curious about that too when I watched it, and then I just sort of, when she returned, I knew she was breathing, and when she returned, I just figured that at the time she was knocked out, as opposed to having her neck broken. But I do remember when he sort of checks to see if she's okay and moves her head. I didn't get the sense that her neck was broken. Usually,
me neither.
And as we see later, they do it very dramatically to be like, oh no, this time,
yeah. Gavin Blackburn says, this reminds me of the bit from Spaceballs when they're watching themselves on TV. When will then be now? Suzanne says, Jill, oh my God, I found Scotty's doppelganger. Even the voice, but with white hair. Oh,
Well, I'll
wow.
catch
Really?
up. That was me from the future.
Oh, goodness. Oh, right. Mr. CCDV says you can get stabbed with the lightsaber and not die. She's fine.
She's fine.
Man, just a flesh wound. Oh, ultimately, Hector murders her. Yes, agreed. And I guess there's some disagreement with that. Scotty R37 doesn't think so, but I do agree with PvP.
Okay,
But
we'll get there.
the time loop stuff comes back. She comes back to life. No. She didn't. This is the same timeline. This is with Hector.
Yeah.
And there's only one girl on the bicycle. The only person who has multiple people is Hector. And the way the time travel works in this movie is just that you create a new self, and the timeline is fixed. It stays the same.
Yes. It's more like duplication. It's a copy machine. It'll copy you in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, where was I? The girls run away, but that's all the interaction that Hector 1 has with the girl at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hoping this girl just runs far away and never returns, but this is not what happens.
No, not really.
As what PvP explains. Hector 2 picks up the necklace she was wearing. He finds it in the grass or bush or something, and she only was so I really hoped that she would get away, but she didn't. He knocks down his own fence.
Does the necklace come back?
No. Okay. Unfortunately not. I was hoping the necklace was that's why I got a thing of it, because I was like, what's going to be important? I don't know what's going to be important in this movie, so I took a screen cap of everything I thought could possibly be important. But Hector goes home. Why does Hector go home?
Home? See, I think, that's why he found the necklace, is because the necklace shows that she was running towards his house. So that's why he thinks that she is in his house. That's why he explains, and it's like, I was in my garden, I saw you. He's like, you're right, he's got brain damage. But he's yelling at Bicycle Girl, and it's like, don't call anybody, because he's already had the conversation with the young man. And it's like, you can't tell anybody about what happened here, yada, 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 because my job or whatever. You're a time traveler. And so he's trying to stop her from telling anybody in the authorities about what has happened yet. So that's why he's like, now he wants to explain to why he had made her undress in the woods. And she'll be like, oh, yes.
Oh, okay. None of this was explained. You're inserting this in there, but I guess that
No, I'm not inserting it. It's in the dialogue.
It is in the dialogue?
It is in the dialogue, because
he's
addressing her as Bicycle Girl. And so it does make sense that the necklace is there, because it's sort of like it got caught on the branch, and it's like, oh no, Bicycle Girl went into my house. And that's why when he starts saying, this is my house, I was in the garden, I caved in.
Okay, that's why I thought he was just being a maniac. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, so there was a reasoning for him saying that, and I didn't understand when he was just ranting like that. I thought that Hector was just way overthinking. And at this point, I don't know that it's not Clara who throws the table at him. So I was like, wow, this lady knows how to defend her house.
Well, and that's the bait and switch that happens with this scene, is because when the table comes down at him, I'm like, okay, that's Clara, because she's the only one who knows the table's there.
Right. That's what I thought too. And then he pulls her from the roof, and he believes that he murdered his own wife accidentally from being a brash idiot.
Yes.
And
well, he doesn't see, this is where there's her broken neck. So yes. Anyway, no,
I don't want to see that for that long.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Good choice. But here's what I'm saying, is that I think that this is manslaughter, maybe murder too, like second degree. But like, he didn't intend to kill her. He was trying to stop her, and then pulled her off of, because those tiles, those like clay tiles that are on Spanish houses, they're not fixed or secured. They're just going to slide down, if I remember from other movies that have these tiles. And so he goes to pull her, and that's where there's that little clue, because you get to see the Chuck Taylors, and it's like, oh, so that's her. But then he pulls her down, and then she falls down 2 stories, breaks her neck, as we see. But her hair is short and wearing Clara's jacket. And so that's why he thinks it's his wife. And I was like, well, that's weird. Why is she wearing the Chucks? But wait, there's more.
Right.
I don't think he killed her. I think it was accidental.
It was, Hector 2 accidentally killed her. I'm not calling Hector 2 a murderer. Hector 3 is the murderer.
For not stopping it?
For instigating it. For setting it into motion.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's a fun movie.
It is a fun movie. This was a good choice, Pop. Thank you. I never would have watched this movie if you didn't mention it. Susan Eckstein says, so I found this guy now. Can't remember his name. Back down the rabbit hole, or else it didn't happen.
Oh, don't investigate.
Suzanne says, Jill, thank you so much for your help. Oh, you're welcome. But we'll do what we can.
Cool.
If anybody wants to donate, I'm gonna send whatever I make today to Suzanne's issue with her plumbing, so she can have running water again. So that's the thing. We're all gonna go to Tony's at Stark of Iron's channel after this, and it'll be a fun time. He always makes it a party.
Yeah, some of their plan.
But with the time loop stuff, she comes back to life. Oh, okay, wait, no. That's PvP's interpretation of this movie, and every interpretation is worth looking at. But I already contradicted that earlier. That she was alive until this moment. This is where she's dead.
Yes. But it's only Hector who goes to revisit her while she's alive.
Yeah, Hector thinks he's accidentally killed his wife.
Yes.
Edge of Time says yes. Oh, just to the left of the cheesecake. Wait, what? Cheesecake. Oh, okay. You know what? I need to get that gift. The video of 7 of 9 eating cheesecake.
Ooh, that would be good.
As the doctor. Grey Poupon makes everything better, says Mr. CCD. I don't understand, but
it may be an old reference for you.
Well, okay. Hector 2 is an accidental killer. Like it's yeah. I was just offending. Like you could wave that away. Hector 3, way worse.
Totally a killer. Yeah.
It's Scotty R37. It was freaking creepy. It wasn't your channel, so when I heard the voice, I had to enlarge the screen. Like, whose channel is this? Scott, Suzanne, where did you find Scotty 2? What's going on?
Oh no, it's time travel me.
BBP says 7 of 9 cheesecake eating cheesecake. Yes. Okay, so now let me refocus back on this movie.
I do like the bandage hat. Like this is a creepy thing, and it's a good way to help differentiate the 3 Hectors.
Mm-hmm. And thanks for explaining to me why Hector 2 is there. I guess that makes some sense. If he thinks, I didn't think that, but now I get it. He thinks that the girl from the forest on the bicycle is there.
Yes, that's how I interpret it.
So he eavesdrops with Hector 1 and the scientists. And I just decided, man, these walkie-talkies have exceptional range.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But yeah, I guess. But also part of as I mentioned before, or at least the way I interpreted it, part of the reason why Hector 1 goes into the forest in the first place is he sees like some sort of antenna. Like and so the range on the walkie-talkies never bothered me, because it was like, well, yeah, no, The silo has that big antenna, and it had like a globe on the end of it, so I figured the transmission range was high.
Well, you know what, Scotty? You're really good at detail. I missed. Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, I'm just. This is
It's
how
still,
I'm.
it's still a really strong walkie-talkie, but you're right. At
Yes,
least they
it is.
do have a reasoning for it working. Filthy Friday. It is. Well, it is. This movie is pretty filthy because this guy gets so bloody. Scotty too will soon terrorize a lady on a bicycle. No, he won't do that.
No, I really won't.
Cheesecake is evil. Too many good ingredients. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, so far we have a full dinner described during this live stream. Roast chicken, cheesecake, and a hot tub. Okay, so even stranger, the scientist listens and pays attention to everything Hector 2 says. And he's like, okay, you're Hector 2, I'm going to do. All right, so everybody trusts each other in this movie. They're like, okay, I trust you, Hector 2. I'll do what you say.
Yeah,
I guess at least.
Okay. This is when we find out about Hector 3.
Yep, but at least the good excuse is that the scientist has the time machine, so he's used to this kind of thing. But no, this was the first. That's what I was thinking the first time I watched this. But no, this was the first time he actually even used this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Hector 2 breaks through the gate with the black car and chases Hector 1 to make Hector 1 go into the silo and ultimately into the time machine. So all Hector 2 has to do this time is scare Hector 1. And so he scares Hector 1 through the window like he did last time. Little does Hector 1 know that Hector 2 killed Clara, or at least that's what I thought the first time I watched it. I really did think it was Clara. And Hector 2 is just sitting there on the steps looking bored, waiting. That's kind of funny. He's like, well, what do I do now? Well, I guess I can just wait here.
Well, and yeah, like there are 3, like, and this one we sort of get through montage. Hector 3, we get through montage essentially in getting all the main beats until we get to the climax. But with this, it's very much, we have 3 hours that occupy a 1.5 hour movie. And so there's a lot of like time gaps that are just like, okay, he's waiting, or okay, he's unconscious, or okay, he's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it so that it's not, because it could have been like completely real time. This would have been, as you said, like with a 3 hour movie, you could have done this whole movie in real time. It would have been weird, but you could have.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't. They made it more concise.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't stretch it for just to make it longer.
Right.
Hello to Brogu in the chat. Great to see you. That's what makes this
Hello
movie
there.
reasonable to watch, is because it is so tightly written.
Mm-hmm.
And edited, yes.
And so let's see, let's reduce that. Okay, perfect. All right. So it takes me just a second to get back into this. Okay, so then Hector 1 gets into the time machine. Yeah, the hot tub. That's where he makes Hector 2, but okay, so this is where things start to confuse me a little bit, but this is past me. So we're finally part in the movie where something new happens. The other guy comes to check on Hector 2. He calls him, I didn't get many quotes from this movie, but I like this one. He says, "The man with the bandage, the pink mummy." That's funny.
Which is, it's a nice moment of levity, but considering, the terror that Hector has already exerted upon Bicycle Girl, it's like, yeah, I guess.
Right. He's a criminal. He's committed sexual assault. He's killed. He accidentally killed her, but he doesn't know he killed her. He thinks he killed Clara, but he really killed Bicycle Girl.
Right.
So the scientist wants to examine Hector too, because he's the first one with the spine to time travel. And he's also critiquing the story he fabricated earlier concerning the security cameras that never existed. So, guys, when at the beginning of this review, when I talked about security cameras, those were made up. Those don't exist.
Which I thought was a nice little touch. Hey, that's a good idea. We should get those.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Hector too is running into the silo this time because he thinks he lost his wife. He wants to go back in time to fix that, but the scientist says, "No, you can't do that." And Hector too threatens to tear up the machine if the scientist doesn't help. And the scientist calls him on his bluff and asks Hector too to meet him at the house because the scientist still wants to examine Hector too, and by house I mean the laboratory, I guess. But that examination never happens. Scientist throws something and goes into the silo, telling Hector too, "Oh man, this time machine doesn't work in this time because it used up all its energy, and you're gonna have if you want to, you're gonna have to wait a week." But Hector too knows this isn't a lie. He realizes that something's missing, and the scientist admits, yeah, that's the battery. The battery is what will make the time machine work. And so Hector too wants the other guy to go get the battery. The scientist says, "This machine doesn't solve problems. In fact, it creates them." And yeah, exactly. If he goes back, he'll just make another Hector. So he's gonna make Hector 3. And this is real time Jill talking. As I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking this is a bad idea, Hector 2. And I'm not already I'm like, do we really need any more Hectors at this point?
That was great. You sent me a message, and after you watched it, and you were like, "There's too many Hectors."
Okay, so they're working the mechanics of it, and the scientist says, "I activated the machine seconds before you appeared inside of it, and apparently you can't travel back to a time before it was off. So this is a very limited time machine that only works for the time in which the machine is working," which I think is an interesting mechanic.
True.
The scientist can only give Hector a 30 to 40 second head start because that's when the machine was turned on. But the scientist warns that Hector 2 might make everything worse. So, okay. But of course, Hector 2, who's going to get the head start, is becoming Hector 3. So when Hector 2 gets into the time machine, he becomes Hector 3. So Hector 3 is the one who has the 30-second head start.
Mm-hmm.
So if you okay, so this is a quote from the movie. "If you travel into the past and alter events, stopping Hector 1 from getting into the tank, there will be 3 of you, which will likely cause a chain reaction of events beyond your control." And so Hector 2 says he won't interfere with Hector 3, chasing Hector 1 like before. He'll just stay out of their way, oh, wait a minute. Hector 2 says when he's Hector 3, he won't chase. He won't interfere with Hector 2 and 1. That okay. I mixed that up a bit. if anybody's still following along.
No, I'm totally getting
Doing our
this.
best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I know you guys are, but I'm afraid
kudos
for my
to you,
audience.
Jill. You're doing a great job, Jill. Better than I could.
No, you would have done great. What does Hector 2 mean when he says he will follow Hector 3 and finish him off? Is Hector 2 planning to as Hector 3 when Hector 2 becomes Hector 3, it sounds like the future Hector 3 wants to do something to Hector 2.
Okay, anyway. Hector 1 goes in the machine, goes back an hour. turns into Bandage Boy, does all the things, then goes home, thinks he kills Clara, goes back to the time machine and says, I want to go back in so I make sure I don't kill Clara. So at this point, we have, where is...
Right.
So there are no more Hectors. He's the only Hector at this point. Everybody else has gone through. No, Bandage Man.
No. They're all still there because Hector 3 is actually the first one to appear in the timeline now, because
Right.
he's getting a 40-second head start from everybody. But anyway, the scientist doesn't want Hector 2 to use the machine anyway. Hector 2 says, you took the battery out before I said anything, right? How did you know I'd want to use the time machine again? So he's still trying to figure this out. Now, Hector 2 is suspicious that the scientist knows more, that Hector wants to time travel again. And so Hector 2 smacks the scientist to tell him the truth. And so the scientist says, okay, Hector 3 told me to do all this. That's how the scientist knew. And so this is the point where I said I like this movie when it only had 2 Hectors.
Edge of Time in the chat says, we're all just Hector inspectors now.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. The scientist says that Hector 3 appeared in the tank before Hector 1. And Hector 3 was telling the scientist what to do and how to interact with Hector 2. But, okay, so, yes. So in my notes, I'm just reworking everything to make sure. My brain was short-circuiting, but I get it now. Anyway,
See,
while the... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and see, this is why we can't really spoil this movie. It's only an hour and a half. You got to watch it and sort of have these pieces filled in for yourself, because you will get a picture of it once you sort of see the movie. Us explaining it is going to be confusing, but it's very well laid out and explained. Motivations are sometimes askew, but I think it all does, package nicely once we get to the end.
It does. It makes sense. It makes more sense watching it. Please.
Yes.
Right. And when you do watch it, you have to pay attention. Yeah, so we have to pay attention. It's not something you can do like going on doing the laundry in the background or something like that.
Right.
Oh, no. If you're not watching this movie, you're not going to get it. You have to watch it. It's mostly visual. Actually, the dialogue is quite minimal. So if you're not watching it, you're going to miss story.
Mm-hmm.
Like how I missed the towers that are relaying the signal for the walkie-talkies.
The walkie-talkies?
The walkie-talkies. Yes, the walkie-talkies. I think they're wacky. Walkie-talkies. Great. Anyway, while the scientist was getting the tank ready for Hector 1, Hector 3 calls on the walkie-talkie. He is warning the scientist that Hector 2 will go back in time. Will want to go back in time. And Hector 3 is like, don't let Hector 2 go back in time. So Hector 3 wants to stop Hector 2 from time traveling. And when Hector 2 goes into the time machine, that's how Hector 3 exists. So what Hector 3 wanted doesn't happen. Hector 2 becomes Hector 3, whereas Hector 2 is off doing something else now. Now he's okay, so here's some dialogue from the movie. You mean the second trip I'm about to take was already made? Apparently you couldn't solve your little problem. You told me yourself it failed. So he thinks he failed. Hector 3 thinks he fails. Let's catch up with the slides with what I'm saying. And so there's the battery that goes into the time machine. And this is the rain. This rain comes, is mentioned later at the end of the movie. And Hector is getting into time machine to make Hector 3. Hector 2 becomes Hector 3.
So now there are 3 Hectors
Mhm.
again.
Yes, now there are 3 Hectors. Since he concedes that Hector 3 already exists, he might as well go through with it since it already happened. So they're just like, this is fate, and so we got to keep doing it. This is the predetermined. They really go all in with the predetermined. They don't mix up time travel methods. It's all predetermined or self-determined, honestly. This is self-determined as far as I'm concerned, not predetermined. And so Hector 3 comes out to talk to the scientist, telling him that the time machine works. He says the scientist should listen to him, or else the others will know that the scientists used the time machine without authorization. I don't know why he makes this threat. Why does he make that threat?
Exactly. I'm not really sure.
Well,
I
it's
watch
sort
it
of
again and again.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
it's more to do with it's sort of keeping young man hostage. It's like, if you don't want anybody to know about what's happened here and what's going on, because the first time he gets out of the time machine, it's like, you can't tell anybody what's going on, or I'm going to get fired. I'm never going to be able to do this anymore. And it's like, oh, okay. And so when he comes back, and when Hector 2 talks to young man, he's like, oh, okay. Well, if you don't want anybody to find out, you are going to have to help me. And he does say, okay, I'm going to destroy the time machine. And he's like, go ahead. And it's like, well, even though Hector said, don't let him get in the time machine no matter what, destruction of the time machine was not on the table. So I think it was more of a threat towards the doctor, because it's like, if you want to keep your job, you got to help me.
Okay.
That was my
of course, Hector 3 has the most important job of everyone, which is to make sure no one hurts Clara this time. Yes. And the way he does it. Hector 3 is crazy. Hector 3 finds a golf cart. He finds he can't get through the gate.
Right.
And so he's got to go back. But and again, like, now we have Hector 3, and the way that you can tell Hector 3 is because he is beat up.
Yeah, he's got this. He's taken the bandage off, but you can see all of his wounds and his bruises and the gash in his head.
He's all swollen. Different shirt as well.
Good.
I didn't get any production. I don't know a lot about the production of this movie, but it does seem like it had a small budget, but they had a lot of good makeup work.
Right. It shows what you can do if you manage your money correctly. I think that they did a great job.
And so Hector 3 is on a mission to get rid of all the other Hectors, because he's going to be the Hector that survives.
Of course.
So this is where we get the red truck, the red car that's going to hit the white car. So Hector 3 is going to hit Hector 2 with this van.
Just to make sure the time progresses the way it was done the first time around.
And he knocks over the trash can.
There's the girl.
Yeah, there's the girl on the bicycle, and Hector 3 falls off the cliff. 2. So he also gets into a crash.
Well, and as soon as this happened, I was like, yep, Hector's going to crash the red van too.
He does. And then there's another walkie-talkie.
Well, I thought that was a clever way, because I was like, how did he get the walkie-talkie? How was it in the coat? And it was like, because the truck crashed and it had all the walkie-talkies in the back of it. And so he just took one of them, and it's the same one that he had from the coat from earlier, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, he picks one up, and he announces himself as Hector 3. This is Hector 3. And the other person's like, what? Oh, this is the last one. I'm the last Hector. Listen to me. I'm afraid everyone will know what we did. Looks like you bet on the wrong house. I'm a failure. So he thinks he failed. Hector 3 wants to know why the scientist was messing with the machine. The scientist didn't want to wait 6 months for the other scientists, and that he was kind of like, he wasn't going to be a part of it. He wasn't invited to the party in 6 months. So he was like, this is my chance. I'm here now. I'm gonna see what this thing does.
Right.
And so that's the reasoning for why the scientist is playing with time. Hector 3 warns the scientist to keep Hector 2 out of the tank, but we already know he goes in to create Hector 3. So my brain is just like, what, why? Okay. Oh, and then he explains it, and then he explains it. Hector 3 says, I just wanted to make sure that Hector 2 hits the scientist. So, okay. And then we find out why early in the movie the bicycle girl just screams for no reason, and we find out now she screams because she encounters Hector 3.
Yes.
Which is kind of clever because she doesn't recognize Hector because before he was Bandage Boy.
Right. Yeah. So she doesn't realize she should be running from this creep. So that's what's going on. At least there will be somebody there to smack you. That was a good line. Okay, so let me catch up with the chat because I know I've been remiss. And we're almost at the end of the movie. So would blue make it purple? What?
For the blue milk, if the hot tub time machine was in blue and it mixed in, would it make the blood purple? The answer is yes, Mr. CCD.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That'd be cool. And no, that's not a joke about Hector's troubles due to getting in the tank. The film tanked for me at a previous point in time for PvP. I guess reading the chat is kind of like going back in time.
Yeah.
So
it's a good time.
Mr. CCDV says my cat is going to be called Schrodinger. Ooh.
Nice.
That's a good idea.
I did. I've been trying to explain it. PvP. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, test the rerun, you guys, if you didn't quite understand. I don't know if that'll help. It probably will.
Again, the movie does such a better job at explaining it.
It does. It does a better job than I could. But it's fun to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we recommend you all watching it. You definitely need to see it.
I think it's available for if you have Amazon Prime. You can check it on Shudder. Shudder does have free trials as well. I think that happens in the States, and then in Canada you can check it out on Tubi.
Right, that's how PvP found it, was on Tubi. Edutime says sugar is a hell of a drug.
True story.
It is. And Penny just got home. Yay, Penny's home. And in the next
there are no other pennies in the house.
All right. PvP says in the next sequel, we will get Hector 4 and 5. The 5 of them form a pro basketball team and go on to fame and fortune.
That would be interesting.
Okay, but the only problem with that is that how did Hector 3 get out of prison in order to use the time machine to make Hector 3 and Hector 4 and 5?
Oh, that's true.
Well, I'm just assuming he goes to jail because he killed this girl. We don't actually see what happens after. Like, we don't get an epilogue.
True.
No, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm. The uninspired reviewer says, I just wrote an analysis on Timecrimes. Glad to see it getting some love. Cheers,
very
everyone.
Cool.
That is rad.
Hey,
nice.
That is so cool. And it is really great to see you, the uninspired reviewer. I can't wait to talk about Alien with you soon. That's going to be great. Definitely check out his channel. Does incredible work. And
cool. Thank
you,
Joe.
Some fun live streams, but he also does some really incredible edited content. You're welcome. Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I love to ride my bicycle, unless I'm a hot chick that ends up getting killed by a bad man. It says PvP.
See, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things with Bicycle Girl is that when she walks up and she sees Bandage Man, if I were in her shoes, I would turn on my heel and run away.
Right. She's a good Samaritan. She just wants to help, and she does not get paid well for that. The film is more fun when hanging out in the chat. Oh my, even Scotty's getting confused. Join the party, Scotty.
More confused in explanations than I am with the movie. I think it all, again, I think it wraps up quite nicely.
I paid attention and was not doing laundry. I still couldn't figure it out. That's true. There's always outliers, PvP says at a time. Yeah, not every movie is for everyone. That's true.
That's true. Although
the time
I was
machine
very...
works. Yes, but with bad results. Yes.
Well, but I was very taken with it in terms of the attention. Like, because it's subtitled, I probably paid more attention to it. Because you have to, pick up on the dialogue. And then, again, I didn't find myself being distracted by the subtitles because, as Jill said, a lot of the conversation, like a lot of the dialogue is sparse, and everything that is presented visually is really, really well shot and striking.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yes. Oh. No, we shouldn't go into that house. Not anything but that house. Oh, and so Clara's okay. And so Hector 3 does not want Clara to get hurt, so he locks her in the shed.
It sets up because there had been a ladder there before.
Mm-hmm.
We thought it was to get away, but no.
Right. We thought it was Clara climbing the roof herself. That's true. But it was all along, it was Bicycle Girl who was given the jacket or over and given a haircut.
Yes.
Forcibly given a haircut.
The final violence perpetrated by the scissors. And that's basically that. And that's what I like. You sort of see the climax of the movie with Hector 2, and then it goes back, and then you get back to this part because he's still continuing. We follow Hector through the whole thing. And then when he finally gets back, it's like, okay, now no more Hectors. He's going to go back and do his thing. It's going to take, and that's, he's just like, we still have a little while before it starts raining. We just have to sit right here and do nothing. And then I see you say he's going to go to jail. And this is like the manipulation of Bicycle Girl to find herself being a Clara doppelganger is definitely Hector 3's doing. Yes, he manipulated her murder. He murdered her. And not Hector 2, Hector 3. But
yeah, Hector 3. Hector 3 has a Bicycle Girl take the place of his wife. So Clara never died after all. It was always Bicycle Girl who died, just kind of looking like Clara, which explains, of course, the sneakers.
Yeah, the Chucks, totes. And but that you think that he's going to go to jail. How exactly would you describe this time crime to the police?
Right. It's gonna seem like, yeah. So this is the events of 3 different Hectors, all doing all of these things. But the thing is,
I think
all 3 Hectors have the same fingerprints.
Oh, well, but it primarily at his house in the woods and up at the facility.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's doing anything about the facility. It's a time travel resort. It's got a hot tub time machine. So I don't think that anybody gets to go and investigate willy-nilly up there. I think it would be a government building or something like that. And even like, so there are,
but it's not very well guarded if it's a government building.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's very true. And his fingerprints are going to be all over his house no matter what.
So maybe they've just looked at it as one crime.
But Clara is going to say there was a bandage man who was outside of the house, terrorized us, and that's who killed the woman. Obviously, that
Right.
bandage man chased this girl into our house, and then he caught her, and then he ran away. Where is the bandage man? We don't know. He gets away into the night.
Oh.
So Hector conceivably can say, this has been an insane evening. And like, now you are going to have to explain 2, car crashes. His fingerprints are going to be all over the cars.
Yeah, like you said, the fingerprints are still going to match to the bandage man.
Yeah, they're all going to point to all the evidence points to Hector if anybody is not asleep at their job.
But it's impossible for Hector to do all these things within an hour. And so even if they do piece it all together with physical evidence, the possibility of the timeline will not work out unless the police know about the time machine. And I don't think the police are ever going to find out about the time machine because Hector's certainly not going to tell them.
Or would they believe it?
Or they wouldn't believe it, right? Oh,
Yeah.
see, and that's the thing. That's why I think this is
confusing for these guys.
It ties up so nicely. I think it all just wraps itself up. I don't even need an epilogue. I know it's sort of ambiguous. What happens to Hector? Don't care.
His Pop bandage man. No, Pop would never do those things.
Afraid not.
But thank you so much for telling me about this movie, Pop Culture Curator. I would have never known anything about this without you. And going through the mechanics
Sorry
of
about
it.
the stress.
What stress?
Sorry about this. Well, I know it's not as easy to watch as most movies, so you kind of have to strain your brain a little bit.
Yeah, and I did. Well, and I did. I hope I expressed how strained I was, but it was fun though. It was good. I like a good challenge.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you watching on my behalf.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it was see, the logic of a man afraid he will never be himself again is a very existential one. So it is a good idea for a time travel movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that I do everything the way Hector did, but I had a good time watching it. And finally understanding it at the end.
And thank you, all of you in the chat, for your patience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Hey, if you believe everything in this film, my basketball theory is believable. Okay, so in a fit of confusion and despair, the police give up on their investigation against Hector and let him get into shape, and he has a getting into shape montage, and he joins the local basketball league, apparently, according to PvP.
Right, even though he's relatively short.
Well, there are a couple of 5'0" basketball players.
Right, possible.
But
glad you enjoyed it, PvP.
All of the Hectors are going to catch up with Hector 3 by the time we get to, like, once the rain starts, just after the rain starts. Is that when like basically they all just loop back into Hector 3 being Hector 1 in the first place anyway. So
the presumption is that they all merge, like they're banished.
Mm-hmm.
They're no longer in the timeline.
Because Hector 2, as soon as they get back once they get into the time machine, that's when they are reverted into their sequel. And then if Hector 3 doesn't get into the hot tub time machine, then there is no Hector 4. And also by that time, Hectors 1 and 2, who are still, and Hector 3, like you couldn't get 5 guys together, and they could only be alive for about an hour.
Oh, he wants them. Oh, okay. See, I didn't get PvP's joke. His joke is that 5 Hectors join a basketball league together, and yes, you're right. That wouldn't work. That would not work.
It's kind of like really Weekend at Bernie's 2. There's no reason.
Well, I guess they were trying to make an interesting film. It just didn't appeal to me.
Makes sense. Hey, again.
Mm-hmm. Says PvP, but yeah, I liked it. I like this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I like it as well.
Well, yeah, he chose it, so that makes sense. It took me 60 seconds to notice she was wearing a Schrodinger cat t-shirt. I can't watch. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Eugene.
When he tosses the scissors away, what was the significance?
I think that's just the signifier that like it's all over. Like I think it's the last thing that we've carried through the film. But yeah, I guess, and he's the only victim of his own scissor attack. So it's not like, his fingerprints are going to be on the scissors.
Well, unless you count involuntary haircut as an attack.
Well, yeah. And there would be hair fibers on the scissors, I would think.
Yes. It was a conspiracy. There were guys with Hector's fingerprints driving the cars. He was innocent and framed, so he didn't go to jail, says PvP.
That's possible.
How do you plant someone's fingerprints? I don't watch enough CSI for this.
Yeah.
September 13th, 1999. September 16th and September 17th. James Caserta is sick of all these Hectors. To heck with Hector.
Yes, agreed.
That's how I felt at the end of this movie. Mr. CCDV says, wait, what day is it? It's someday.
It is someday.
It is today. If you're watching this in real time, today is May 10th, 2024. But it maybe you're watching this in the future. September 16th, 2024, or some other day. But provided you did watch this in the past or in the future or currently.
Edge of Time, it's a great question. How does Timecrimes compare to Primer? I would say that, I would say Timecrimes is better than Primer. Primer is very preoccupied with the technology of the time travel and trying to explain how everything works out. But this one's a little bit more grounded because you're actually following one character throughout all of the time traveling. So it is easier to digest. As a more entertaining film, I think that not to coin an NBC executive from 1965, but I think Primer is a little too cerebral. It's drier.
I haven't seen Primer, but thank you for asking that, and thank you, Scotty, for explaining it.
And it's better than what's the other one, Looper? It's better than that.
Oh yeah, way better than Looper.
Every time travel movie's better than Looper.
Yeah. Even what is it? What's the Martin Lawrence one where he goes back in time to King Arthur's court? Was it called Black Knight? I forget.
I would know. I would watch a Martin Lawrence movie.
Is that based on the Mark Twain novel? Kind of Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court.
I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds right. But it was like a late 90s Martin Lawrence movie, and he does go back in time, and I think he's wearing anyway. I've never seen it all the way through. It was on TBS.
Yeah. I never saw it either, but I don't know. I like silly 90s stuff. I might check it out.
Yeah. Cool.
PvP says I always try to give films a chance, even if I don't get into them.
Best way. Good, man.
Very cool.
Tony says, morning. Hey, morning, Tony. We just finished our review of Timecrimes from 2007, but we still have, 40 more minutes of show left. So we're going to hang out for 40 minutes. And if you want to join us, I can send you a link. Up to you. Let me know if you want one. I watched it in the past, Jill. I time traveled. So it's a love story, basically.
Are you going to send a link to Mr. Stank? Send a link to Tony Stank?
Well, that's what I was asking. Yes.
Okay,
I will send him one. I will send him.
Well, if he wants, I know he's got prep to do, but I just wanted to say Tony Stank.
Oh, right. If you're too busy, Tony, you don't have to. But if you want to, Okay, so I'll send him a link. So just give me a moment for that.
And Edutime says so. It's a love story, basically.
Yeah, it's got
No.
the romance angle, I guess, but
Yeah, he is trying to save his wife.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, I guess so. There's that.
James
PvP
Caserta-
says he
Oh,
likes
sure.
Time After Time, but Nicholas Meyer's directorial debut and has H.G. Wells as the hero going back in his time machine to track down Jack the Ripper. It's a really great, fun film.
It is.
Is that where we get the song by Cyndi Lauper?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's not in the film.
Okay, just curious. Who were you going to read? Sorry to interrupt your reading.
Oh, James Caserta says Looper is a cool concept, though. Yes, I enjoyed that movie about halfway. You have this future world where people are telekinetic and there's time travel and they're assassins and it's in a sort of dilapidated future city. It's all great, and then all of a sudden we go to a farm. I mean, it's like, but I wanted to see Future City. And so, and then how does time travel work? I'm not going to explain it to you, says angry Bruce Willis. And I'm like, but that's why I'm at the time travel movie. Explain time travel to me. So I always feel that is, I feel left wanting from Looper. I like the first hour, the first 50 minutes, and then the rest of it is like, okay, I guess we're doing something completely different.
They basically say time travel. It's like, this is me watching Looper. They're just telling you time travel doesn't make sense, so don't try to make it make sense. And we're not going to even try to make it make sense.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I paid for. So it's like when you open a bag of chips and there's too much air.
Yeah. It's no Megaforce. We can agree on that much, says it.
Absolutely.
Irony Man. That's cute. Thank you, James Caserta. I have a very high opinion of Primer. Oh, Edutime likes Primer. I need to see it.
I'm a fan of Primer.
Oh, now that we're done talking about this movie, PvP suddenly has time for us. Hello, PvP.
Hi, guys. I wasn't going to come on today because I got a lot of real life stuff to do this afternoon, but I had such a good time listening to you guys talk about the film that I thought, oh, what the hell? I'll pop on for a little bit towards the end here because I really didn't want to. I really tried to get into the movie, but I just couldn't. I don't know why. It just didn't click for me. You know, sometimes the movie you want to like it, and it's just like I just can't quite get into the storyline, or maybe Hector was such an unappealing character. Maybe I think that had something to do with it too, actually, guys.
What interests me the most is that Pop Culture Curator says that this movie connects to other time travel movies somehow. And that's the part I didn't quite get.
Gee, I wish I had Pop's list of other movies this connects to, because that would be kind of fun to check out. Actually, some of those. Good idea, actually, Pop. Wow, I never thought of that.
Well, it's kind of a question. Right here. It's kind of a question that I have for Pop, and I was hoping he would answer.
Well, as I said, you have Clara, which is also the name of the love interest in Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was just a coincidence. I remember this movie came out. I read an interview with the director, Nacho Guy, and he said that he was a big fan of time travel movies, and specifically he called out Back to the Future and The Time Machine. Mm-hmm. So it's not like in-your-face references, but kind of like subtle Easter eggs.
Kind of like a tribute to those previous films, maybe, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, The Time Machine is also that's also Predestination? Or,
I think that is almost like borrowed from Time After Time.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Ripper steals the time machine, and H.G. Wells and his girlfriend are trying to get it to come back to modern day San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just what I take away from it.
Yeah, I actually put something in the chat about I think it's Time After Time was the one, because I was thinking of the one where H.G. Wells is basically the hero in the film, going
Yeah.
back in time to chase Jack the Ripper, who has escaped in his time machine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
luckily the
that's
time
one.
machine has like,
Big
yeah,
one.
yeah, Pop. Yeah, I guess that's the one. Yeah. And luckily H.G. Wells has built in like a safety device where the machine returns to his time, even if somebody steals it. Because the only way you can stay in another time is if you have the key, right? HG has the key, so you have to put the key in the machine to actually stay in a time. Otherwise, if the machine does not have the key after a certain amount of hours or days, I can't remember exactly what, it will return to its, HG Wells time, right? Right? If that makes any sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So I found it a fascinating film, and it's what's his name playing HG? He usually often
Malcolm
plays bad
McDowell.
guys. Yeah, McDowell. Sometimes he's played bad guys, but it was very refreshingly, positive as H.G. Wells. I thought he was quite a heroic character, even though in some ways he was very naive, especially at the start of the film. He thought it'd be like paradise or the perfect society, and then he went forward into present day San Francisco, and he soon realized it was not a
Yeah,
panacea.
they destroyed things.
Yeah. You saw the film too, then, did you, Joe?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I really loved that film. That's one of my favorite movies in a way, because it's just a lot of fun. I just think it's a lot of fun actually seeing H.G. Wells as the central character. That's kind of neat.
Oh, no, I guess maybe I haven't seen this particular one, but I guess I've seen enough time travel movies so I can kind of follow along even
Okay.
as you're explaining it.
I did actually put that on my short list I sent you a while back for the
Mhm.
movies for next Friday, Joe. If you remember, time after
I
time
do
was on
remember
that.
that, and you very specifically are interested because of Nicholas Meyer, which is cool. But the actual movie that we will be reviewing next
Mm.
Friday is actually going to be Escape from New York, so that's going to be cool. There's no
Yeah,
time
Nice.
travel.
that was a good choice. Yeah, that's why I put it on the list, because those are some of my. Well, obviously, I'm going to put my favorite films on the list, right? It wouldn't make any sense to put films I didn't like on the list. But yeah, I thought that was actually a very good pick to go with Escape from New York, because that will be a lot of fun. Because that is a great fun movie for sure.
Mhm. And so if you're still okay, so after this live stream in about an hour or less, Tony from Stark of Iron is going to have a fundraiser for Suzanne Eckstein to help her get her running water back because she needs some running water, and he should be here pretty soon when he's ready to give us more details about that, because that's going to be the big event today coming up before Friday Night Frolics with Gamecock. And possibly, he might even possibly stream after that too. Oh, and Mr. CCDV doesn't remember Time After Time. But James could sort of watch that book. Oh, you watched the book? Like a video of someone reading the book? Or you read a book? All right. Okay, so Mr. CCDV says Heinlein did a really good short story that did this plot better. Oh, well, I don't doubt that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I just want to mention, I looked up Time After Time just to check it out, and actually Nicholas Meyer wrote the screenplay too, Jill. So that's kind
Oh,
of
that
cool.
makes sense. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
great writer. He's
Yeah.
good at that.
I like David Warner too as Jack. I thought David Warner gave a really good sinister performance, and Mary Steenburgen as the love interest was fun too. So had a good main cast. I thought that film.
Mm.
It's wonder, one of these days, Joe, we should try to do a Friday on that film, because I think it really would be worthwhile, because it is a very, very good film.
Yeah, thank you for the suggestion, but also welcome to the panel. Tony from Stark of Iron. He's going to have possibly 2 shows today, but the first show today, very special show for Suzanne Extreme, because we want to help her out, because everybody deserves to have running water.
Yeah,
That is correct. I will be employing the use of my pipes to repair her pipes today.
Ooh, clever.
That's a nice economy Iron Man headgear there too.
Oh yes, that is the Buckethead Mark 1 to join the Legion of Bucketheads. The center of the
Looks
earth.
good.
It's not quite as flashy as Galactus, but it'll do. Shout out to Andy Masterson.
Oh, Andy Masterson is responsible. that makes sense. He's such a creative guy.
Andy Masterson has the Galactus Buckethead. Like last Pop Culture Breakdown, they all put buckets on their heads, and I had to work. I wanted to make it, but I didn't have a bucket ready. So among everything else that I've done this week, I've been very busy.
Well, but that's the unfortunate thing, is that sometimes real life gets in the way of the fun.
That's no big deal. I got a surprise for DC along with many others.
Very nice. Edge of Time says, unthinkable. Mr. CCTV, inconceivable.
Start a land war.
Irretrievable.
I thought we were reading the thesaurus.
I thought we were breaking into a Run DMC song. Unconceivable, unbelievable.
Well, there you go.
That sounds like a Gilbert and Sullivan musical or something almost.
Hey, Tony.
And so, well, it just so happens that Pop Culture Curator picked the perfect movie that only lasted 2 hours in order to review, so that we could have this final hour here to talk about whatever we like. And
Great.
Also, yeah. So anybody looking forward to anything coming up?
I'm looking forward to by the end of this to have my voice resemble that of swallowing a cheese grater.
Well, you just have to warm it up. So this is what better place to do it.
Yeah, I figured I'd come on, hang out. Thank you for helping me facilitate this and getting the word out. This has been very nice of you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
something I wanted to do for a while. I mean, I was like, well, I can do it on the 10th. So
yeah, I really appreciate that you're doing this for her. And I'll put the link for that show so you can be ready for it when it goes live. So visit Stark of Iron at 3 p.m. Central for Suzanne's fundraiser today. So that's the link for that. That'll be live soon. And so
songs, script readings, impersonations, about everything you like on a Friday night before Friday night. The second stage is actually doing a pre-show rather than a post-show, but most likely we'll do a post-show as well.
Yeah. So, well, sometimes you become the Energizer Bunny.
Sometimes I don't know what sleep is. But I love it. I love it. Anything for her. She's been such a sweetheart, big supporter of my channel, and it's the least I can do.
She's extremely supportive in general. Yeah. She's wonderful. Oh, yeah. She's a wonderful lady.
Oh, yeah.
We're all wishing you the best of luck, Suzanne.
And James Caserta says, what's another word for synonym or antonym? And
synonym, cinnamon, ad hominem.
Just means 2 words that mean the same thing.
Aluminum.
Well, there is
verbal tennis.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone for tennis? But there is the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming out this weekend. That's something that some people have been talking about. both plus sides and negatives, but that's interesting.
Oh, right. Okay, so I'm gonna disturb a lot of people here. I saw the remakes before I finally saw the original classic.
Oh, that's hey, as long as you saw them.
Well, that's not a big deal, Joe.
But
I watched the
enjoyed them
Broadway
all.
musical. Not to brag or nothing, but the one that starred Troy McClure, and I'll tell you,
I remember
you
him
mean
from the film Gladys the Groovy Mule.
Oh, you mean
it looks like I was wrong. It was Earth all along. Yes, you finally made a monkey. Yes, you finally made a
monkey.
You finally made a monkey out of me. I love you, Dr. Zayas.
And so there you go. Well, The Simpsons did bring us a lot of culture when we didn't otherwise pick up on it. So yes, I did see that too. I saw that before I saw the remakes. So The Simpsons and Animaniacs were the introduction for a lot of what I know. So I have a lot of catching up to do.
The Simpsons is often accredited as the cartoon that shaped or at least commentated on the cynicism of Generation X, just the humor that came with it. At least seasons 1 through 8 or 1 through 9, respectively. And they made fun of just about everything. You can tell when the show was dated. Like there was an answering machine. Like I saw this the other day. It was a picture of an answering machine compendium, and it just had a bunch of answering machines. Like these kids would not know what that is. Like unless they lived with
unless
people
they're
that
taught.
Right. It's like answering machines. What's that? Well, sit down, son.
Well, you know how you have voicemail on your phone.
Yeah. We used to do that on these little cassette tapes, see? And these little micro cassettes record your phone messages.
See,
coincidentally, the same technology came with auto dialers.
It's fun to be able to watch like Escape from New York and have the cassette of the American Bandstand theme be a main part of it. Because kids today may not know what a cassette is, but at the very least, Escape from New York was set in the far distant future of 1997. So they still aren't going to know what's going on.
I often find Demolition Man and Escape from New York to be very similar in the fact that LA was facing its own personal societal apocalypse whenever they put John Spartan on ice, as New York had already become a prison colony, which would have explained another one of the many ways to incarcerate people experimentally. So yeah, little connotation there. At least little head canon growing up.
Would you like to join us next Friday for Escape from New York?
I would love to. As long as I'm not working. What time do you want to kick that off?
Well, that's going to be at noon. If you can only join for a little while, that's okay too.
Okay. All right. It's just sleep. I like it.
Yeah. If you choose sleep over YouTube, that makes more sense.
It's just I work 10-hour shifts. I didn't go to bed till like 7 this morning, my time, so 6 yours. Because I finished recording my video for my project, for the big group project, and that ended up taking like 3 hours, 4 hours, because I wanted it to be a big bonanza presentation, because showmanism, etc.
Of course, yeah, that's incredible. I didn't have time. I didn't have time in my schedule for that, so I'm so glad you made time for that, because that's important.
Oh, I added about the list is already quite long, but there's at least 5 or 6 individuals on mine alone. I gathered some of the most evil villains of my repertoire too.
Wonderful.
send those.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, that's a good start.
Mm-hmm.
And then add in everybody else. That's wonderful. So Mr. CCDV says you have to take all 9 movies as canon because Luke is a contradictory character throughout. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do any such goddamn thing.
Mr.
Oh.
CCDV, please report to your nearest facility for reading education.
Oh, Jill, that was quite a response there. Boy. Whoa, angry Jill for a second
Like
there.
we got ourselves a negative Nelly in Sector 2. Afraid I'm going to have everybody sit down and prepare themselves for reading education.
Oh,
Well, okay, Mr. CCDV, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't agree. Do I have that?
I'm used to seeing happy, cheerful Jill, so.
Yeah.
When slightly annoyed Jill comes on, I'm like, whoa. Sorry, Johnny, go
I
ahead.
need to get going. Thank you for having me on today, Jill.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And so
It's
not
fun.
only was it a good movie to pick because it was a shorter movie, but it was perfect because we couldn't even predict that Pop Culture Curator would have to leave early. And so I don't know, you did a great job picking the movie. It took the perfect amount of time to review, especially for your schedule since you've got to go. And so I hope that you have a good Friday and that you're comfortable and that everything's good and you have a good weekend.
Thank
and
you.
is there
Have
anything
fun,
you want to
everybody.
share?
Yeah, you too, Pop. Have a good day
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, please share your channel and all the things you're doing.
I'll hopefully have rumblings from the lab Tuesday night, and hopefully Monday be back for Lost in Space.
You mean Saturday night?
Saturday night rumblings, thank you. And Monday Lost in Space, Tuesday horror sci-fi movie, Wednesday Gilligan's Island. But thank you so much for having me on today. It was an honor.
Cheers,
and
Bob.
everybody, you all take care over in the chat and on the panel.
Get some rest, brother.
Yeah. You too, Pop. Have a good day there.
Later, guys. Peace.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah. Bye, Pop.
Wait.
Well, yeah, that was really good timing. I'm really proud of how well the time travel movie worked time wise for this.
Jesus
live
Christ,
stream.
Doc. You disintegrated Einstein. Oh, I tell you, Marty. Wait, what? Wrong movie. Sorry.
He only went a minute into the future. He's okay.
Suzanne Xteen in the chat says, I made it back. And then
Welcome
also
back.
Mr. CCDV says, I didn't say I approve in reference to the 9 movie canon.
He just says you have to accept all of the disgusting things in the world. And so it's just like, nah, no, I don't.
Negative Nelly.
Mr. CCDV says, I had the read-along record player with Return of the Jedi. I always played Luke when my friends played along. Nice. And so that's wonderful, Suzanne. I'm so glad you're here.
The star of the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
I've already got plenty of songs queued up for you, so but until the end of it, before the end of it, I'll sing more of the slow crooning songs so that you don't, go to sleep prematurely and miss the frolics. But
yeah, and have a great day to Pop Culture Curator. Here's his channel. Check it out. Good fun stuff. Saturday night rumblings, like you said. Monday night Lost in Space. Let's see what kind of antics happen for that. And Tuesday night horror streams. And Wednesday Gilligan's Island. He's a busy guy.
Yeah, well, I'm all ready for Lost in Space because I've already watched that one. And
oh, wow. You got ready early.
Well, we were going to do it last Monday, though. Remember, Jill?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm prepared for that, too. You're right.
Yeah, I watched it last weekend, so I'm well prepared for it. So,
I did, too. I might rewatch it on Monday just to be fresh.
Yeah, I think I got enough in my memory cells to probably go without having to see it again. But there was, I'll save the
it was an
review.
episode.
Yeah, I'll save the
It
review
was
for Monday night.
certainly put onto television. Susan
Yes,
Exton
it
says,
was.
"Oh Lord, don't say I'm the star. We won't see a dime with me singing." You are the star,
Well,
Suzanne, because it's all for you.
Well, to be fair, I'm lucky to see a dime when I sing, but hey.
You seem to be doing pretty all right on that front. But
I
that
do.
is a bit of a reminder. If I receive anything I received today is going to go toward your show today. And I was wondering about that. I actually had logistical questions about your live stream. How are you collecting?
Okay, so I will be collecting super chats as well as my PayPal mega chat link. So whatever you send, forward it to my PayPal. I'll send that to you in private correspondence. And then basically what I'm going to do, today was payday. So whatever I raise, if I raise it in a super chat, I'm going to forward that and credit to my PayPal before, cutting the check. And then I will be sending it to her in the snail mail because she doesn't have any electronic correspondence.
That's okay. Don't worry about that.
That's basically how the supply route has to play out. Where I'm starting the show and running it all the way through the Frolics, I will not be able to obtain that check until tomorrow, but I do plan on getting it tomorrow sometime in the afternoon. And then you can just get me your address, Suzanne, and I'll take a photo of the money order and send it your way and let you know that it's on its way, and send all of my prayers and wishes with it. Huh?
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I did want to know about all of that. I'm sorry I cut off your prayer there. Didn't mean to do that.
Oh, you're good. Oh no, it's just it's something that I did for another friend recently. He had a PayPal though, so I was just able to forward all of that value to him electronically. But understand some people, you do have to take some extra steps to help.
They need a physical copy.
Yeah, they need.
Makes sense. Well,
so
and it's possible. It's possible though. What you're doing, that's good. That's a little labor of love. Mr. CCDV says, I may karaoke tonight. My son is driving to Phoenix tonight. Oh, okay. Does that mean you're gonna karaoke in real life with your son? That sounds great. And Sentai Ranger Donnie says, hello, Scotty, Tony, PvP, and all.
Mighty and the Morphin himself.
Yeah, hope everyone is well despite the breaking news that ABC's The Conners is ending with season 7. And I'm fine with that.
Oh, how can I go on? How can I possibly go on?
I mean, I stopped watching that when Roseanne was no longer on it, so I think that was season 1.
Yeah, I watched a bit of season 1, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me, to be honest.
I thought it was kind of cute and clever, and then
it was
okay. and then they can't. And no, I thought it was great, and then they canceled Roseanne, and then it was terrible. You can't have Roseanne without Roseanne.
Yeah, they killed her off, didn't they? Like that was pretty dark. Because she overdosed. She overdosed, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, wow, that's a nice little touch for a comedy series there, folks. I think that's when I kind of lost interest at that point too, actually, Jill. That was that was very dark.
Okay, PvP. People do want to respond to this.
Oh, good. Can you put that on the? Oh, sorry.
No, I
meant it was in the chat. Go ahead, Scotty.
Thanks. She overdosed on the show.
Well, her character, Roseanne's character was. Yes. Well, I mean, I don't think they actually had an episode where she croaked, but it was like
no, they don't show it. They just say it offhand. They're just like, oh yeah, off screen this happened.
Yeah.
Huh. Just a strange. You're right. It's a strange choice for her exit. Involuntary.
Because she made a bad tweet, and so we got to destroy her.
From what I understand, she thought the bitch was white.
She did. She thought she did, and I believe her too.
That's what I heard.
And
Yeah,
plus, she's a comedian. Comedians are, are always say ridiculous, stupid things. And I don't understand why people take them so seriously when they're comedians.
well, it's because we're living in that age now where people take everything so seriously. They can't just have a laugh and go, "Oh, you silly person making a silly tweet." It's just like, "Oh, you made an offensive tweet. We have to end
Like,
your
even if it
career."
is offensive, and even if someone is a terrible person, it's like freedom of speech doesn't just apply to people who are good. By allowing people to be offensive, you know who to avoid if that offends you. If it offends you, then walk away from that person yourself. You don't have to shut them down.
Yeah, you could just not watch the show anymore, as a protest if you dislike, what she said that much, right? It's like
Right.
freedom of speech isn't about saying nice, Goldilocks, oh, the porridge is perfect, to my sensibility. It's like sometimes, people, have, should be offensive because sometimes, that's just the way freedom of speech works, like, you know.
It is.
I mean,
It does
you
get a
have the
little
right.
bit dicey when you work for Disney, though.
Well, yeah, I can imagine these days. Seems like Disney in general is kind of dicey, eh, Scotty?
Well, and Roseanne was like the reboot, the revival of Roseanne was shown on ABC. From your friends at Disney.
Yes.
Well, and I guess a private company has the right to just say they don't want this person working for them anymore, but it's just.
Yeah, I get the feeling it was a decision at the top. Some of the executives probably, maybe, I don't know if it was politically motivated. Maybe they disagreed with their political views, but it was definitely like the people producing the show wanted to get rid of her. It certainly seems that way anyway.
And it's just not American. I don't know, man. Mr. CCDV says you have to take all 9 movies. No,
we already read that.
Okay,
you read that.
I read that.
You
one
got
already.
mad at it.
Okay.
Remember?
Don't get triggered again, Jill.
Well,
I'm not doing the Ned Flanders reference a third time.
All right,
no, that's okay. Okay, hey, wait a minute, PvP. You're
sure.
You don't have to fill every empty space. It's okay to have a little bit of like. You can breathe, relax. It's tea time.
Okay. It's my inner disc jockey coming out, Jill. Dead air scares me.
No, don't be afraid of the dead air. You don't have to fill it. You don't have to fill it. We can chill.
Dead air is no fun.
No, it is. It could be quite powerful. You can have just a little bit of it. It can send a message just as much as.
If I don't see a tumbleweed
saying something
flying by the screen in the silence, it's not dead enough.
Exactly. So James Caserta says Zordon. Can somebody tell me who Zordon? Oh, is that from Power Rangers? Okay.
That is the guardian of the grid.
Well, and Sentai Ranger Donnie is quite the guardian because he brought us a cool topic that we talked about for a few minutes.
Nice.
Thank you, Donnie. James Caserta says, I'm jacked into Jill. Interesting. Like Jack and Jill going up the hill.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was trying to make the words I was trying to wire the syntax correctly and make something witty, but nah.
That's okay. Suzanne Hengstein says, okay. Thank you, Penny, for opening up the chat. Now my poor vision can just type Donnie. And CCDV says, I watched all the original Roseanne episodes. I couldn't watch the first EPP of Connors. And yeah, I watched all the original Roseanne too, but I enjoyed it until it became Connors. It was actually called Roseanne when Roseanne was on the show. I don't blame those who despise the Walt Disney Company, but I still defend a few things I love best about it, including my number one Disney show. Sentai Ranger Donnie's number one Disney show, High School Musical, the series. Oh.
Donnie is a musician.
Well, you know what? He is a musician, and so that makes sense. He likes something musical, and And I'm glad that there's something out there that's paying respect to its original source material, but it's just too bad that it is High School Musical. The musical. It's too bad for me because I'm not into that. I wish like it was Star Trek or something. I'll always he'll defend the Lizard Ranger anime. Okay. But even on that note, he says, I'm ready for a new era in the Walt Disney Company under new leadership, no matter how long it would take. And that is definitely a matter of great discussion recently. If you didn't, yeah.
Oh, I did get it, by the way, Suzanne. Yeah.
What did you get? What did you get, PvP?
Suzanne sent me a direct message on Twitter.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm glad you got it. Dead air equals thinking. I'm not sure I'm ready for that.
You pondering what I'm pondering?
Looks like a foot. That's a comment.
Yes. I think so, Brian, but Sarah Jessica Parker kind of looks like a foot. No.
See, that was the perfect Pinky response.
Yes.
Oh, he actually was thinking that. Wow. You know, I always like it when Pinky was actually thinking what Brain was thinking. That doesn't happen often. Zardani.
Rangers.
And Suzanne Eckstein says, shut up. So I have a video for that. I have a video right here. I just clipped this one recently.
Sir, I know this may finish me as an acting ensign, but
shut up, Wesley.
Yeah.
Picard's finest moment of the series. I will vote for that. Well, I'm being facetious, but
No, I'm glad that there's actually a moment from TNG that brings you joy, and that's one of them for me too.
All right.
Yeah. They had too much Wesley, that's for sure.
Narf.
Narf.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just a function of Jill. Well, no, you're much more than that, James Caserta. You're your own person who can come up with your own ideas and things to do. I'm sure you're going to come up with a really great thing to do today. And I hope everybody does, come up with some really cool things to do today because it's the beginning of the weekend. And hopefully you've got some plans. And, if not make your life better, at least make your life more fun.
Working for the weekend.
Jedi Bill,
Yeah.
Mars Monkey Max.
Yeah, Jedi Bill's here.
The
Mars
internet's
Monkey Man,
howler
awesome.
and prowler. The Ayatollah of Rockarola. Lord Humongous Jedi Bill.
Very nice. You came up with a very special introduction for Jedi Bill.
Well, I had Mad Max to thank.
Yeah. Yeah, Mad Max 3.
Yep.
2.
Jill and
No, 3.
Gil.
Lord Humongous was the Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh, silly me.
There you
Sorry.
are. No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, Suzanne. Okay, so everybody's saying hello.
And James Caserta. I'll die on that, Jill. Is that really the
It's a serious thing.
That's a bit of a strange comment, actually. But
No, I liked it. I liked it.
Just don't plant your flag. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God. Okay, no. See, this is why I did not bring that comment up and why I interrupted it with chocolate.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Sorry, my mind just goes to weird places. I'm sorry, Jill.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Chocolate fixes everything.
Yes, have some.
Well, it certainly makes it better. That's for sure.
It's a goddamn weird ass place we work in. Let me tell you.
Well, it is Friday,
It is.
And you got to get down on Friday.
It is filthy Friday.
I knew how you beat me to it. Scotty beat me
Do you dig my Rebecca Black?
I despise that song.
I
It's so
know.
much of my heart. And
You
I only
told
heard
me
it.
that.
Who's the
I
performer of
know,
that?
and you sing it so much.
I
Who's the
love it.
performer of that?
Rebecca Black.
Rebecca Black. It's
Okay. That's why I don't know it.
It's auto-tune garbage.
Ugh! I hate auto-tune. I hate auto-tune.
I feel like we may have a means. I feel like we may have a means to torment them, Scotty. I feel like
I know, right?
But you know what, though? The only time I like autotune is when Darius Munchausen does it. So I guess it depends on the person. Like, if I like the person, then they can do it.
Well, I mean, if it's a vocoder, that's fine. But, like, just the Apple app itself, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't discredit ELO, and we can't discredit, like, the original analog electronic sounds of, like, Daft Punk and stuff like that. You know?
Oh, no, but that requires talent.
Well, it all depends how it's done, right? Like, when it's done creatively, like those bands, did back in the day, it's like, okay, I can go with that. But when it's just you get lazy artists that really can't sing and can't really hit or hold a note, and they just rely on technology, and then they end up sounding like robots or whatever. It's like, no, I just can't listen to that stuff. I really can't.
I just like the story of how the song came to be, and it just became a viral sensation. She had no intention of becoming some sort of pop star. She went to what essentially was like a video recording booth to do something that was made for her, kind of like a Sweet 16 present or something. She made the video as a vanity project. It blew up, and then she sort of saddled with it. And so I don't think that she was like, I'm a lazy artist, and I want to make sure that my music gets onto the charts. The charts, I tell you. And it just became it was she fell backwards into that particular hot tub time machine.
Oh my god. This is hilarious. You know so much about the production. Okay, fine. If it just happened, she just became, it was all an accident, then I'm not so mad at her, but it's still not, I still don't like the song.
I just kind of find it adorable, and it's very simplistic, but I like that. I also like, the Archies. I like Sugar Sugar. So
but I
like my bubblegum pops.
No,
I like my bubblegum pops.
I like 60s bubblegum can be a lot
That's
of fun.
different.
Well,
way different.
And they actually have talent and something like
60s
Sugar.
bubblegum is fundamentally different, like musically speaking.
Well, I just mean for like trifles. Just a trifle one hit, like alley-oop.
Like something just made for fun.
I think the Archies had more than one hit, didn't they? I remember Sugar Sugar, but I think they had maybe at least one other one that got attention, though I can't recall it at the moment, of course.
Oh yes, and this is
Lollipop, ooh, la 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 lollipop.
I thought that was the Chordettes.
I know it's Chordettes, but
nice.
I
was guessing.
Yeah,
sugar leads to candy. Candy leads to chocolate, and so I approve of these messages.
Yes. Yeah, bubblegum pop was a thing for a while.
Mr. CCDB says, I grew up 3 blocks away from the Beach Boys. I can't stand going back to LA. I'm decades forward from then, though.
Sounds like you need a hot tub time machine.
Well, the Beach Boys aren't what they used to be anyway, so.
Well, just don't go into the future with that hot tub time machine. You'll be fine.
Well, he's going to just go into a regular hot tub, I think, and have a roast chicken and cheesecake. This is what I'm imagining Mr. CCDV's Friday is going to be like, based on this live stream we've had today, which would make sense if he went back in time.
I should probably go ahead and start getting ready. It's about 13 minutes till.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. And actually, I'm ending this live stream, so I'll go ahead and let you go. Oh,
alrighty. I will be whistling the happy tunes for the little chillins. I'll be singing songs, doing transcript readings, all of the things that you love me to do on the after party shows after FNF, but as a pre-show. All proceeds, donation, chats, mega chats will be sent to our good friend Suzanne Eckstein, who is in much need of pipes under her facility. So if I can shake my house using my pipes, then maybe they can take up her house to install some. So with that stated, I love you guys. I will see you all in just a few moments. We will have just about everything that I could possibly have available for it. I'll have Alistar say some dad jokes, and just going to be all in all a good time. You know, every super chat will have a request attached to it. Just I'll do anything.
And I am veritably spamming the chat with your link because I messed up the chat like twice. So here we go. So if you haven't seen it the last 12 times, just scroll up a bit.
The only returns that don't diminish. So anyway, with that stated, I'm going to go ahead and get everything queued up. And
yeah, Tony, have a good time. And
I plan to. Hopefully, you guys hang out afterwards and listen in, and hopefully, I provide good radio this afternoon. Normally, I've had a few to drink, but yes, Bobby Darin, Mr. CCD, we will definitely have some Bobby Darin.
Well, and then sometimes you're on a mission. So
I am
this
indeed
is a good
on a
one.
mission. I do have a bucket over my head. I am Buckethead number 1337. We are Buckethead.
1337. Oh, that's Leet.
We are the Buckethead. Lower your helmets and surrender your pop culture. You will be assimilated.
Oh, I thought you were going to want my popcorn. But no, pop culture.
All right.
State your intent.
You know, you could put it in the bucket.
I don't have the Borg voice. I have to have like some kind of metallic reverb in order to really deliver it.
State your intent.
Oh, right.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
All right. I will see you all in just a few.
Yeah. See you soon, Tony. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Take care.
Resistance is futile.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's you. Well, we are leaving, so you can tell me your things.
The things.
Let me grab your link. All the things you're online for.
Well, it's been a blast in terms of being on with Cinema Gulp, which shows up on Wednesdays or Thursdays in the evening. We either have the Hump Day Happy Hour on Wednesdays, or we do Thirsty Thursdays on Thursdays. It depends on when Cinema Gulp wants to do his thing, because I'm not into schedules. Regularly scheduled programs, I don't do that very often. And then on Thursdays, for sure, unless I don't want to. On the Phantasmagorium, Kat and I have been talking about Fargo, and we just finished up season 2, episodes 3 and 4. I wanted to give a big shout out to Eugene Bird from last night. He stopped by and was very generous, but he literally came in after we had finished reviewing 2 episodes, and it was like, thank you for the super chat. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We tried to stretch it as much as we could, but Eugene Bird, you are a great provider, and thank you so much for your generosity. And then on Fridays, I think next Friday is a big hullabaloo, which I'm looking forward to, but I'll leave it to you and PvP to discuss. And then at ScottyR37 on the Twitter.
Oh, right, the Twitter stuff. And there's the Cinema Gulp and Scotty Arthur's Twitter. I forgot about
it's at ScottyR37 on Twitter. If you have it, you can find it.
It's not difficult to find, is it?
Yeah.
I got Scotty on Twitter.
Nice.
Anybody who doesn't have Scotty on Twitter, here it is.
There it is.
Post that in all of the things. And so PvP, tell us about what we're doing Friday, and also tell us about your channel and everything that you're doing on the internet.
Okie dokie, I can do that. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to miss Tony's stream, I think, because I do have afternoon stuff lined up where I got to go do banking stuff, and then I got to go look into getting my income tax done because it's like 10 days overdue from the deadline, but I just couldn't find any. Usually they have free tax help for seniors, and I kind of missed the boat this year because I applied too late to my local community center, but they said if you come in after the 1st of May, you might be able to get like a walk-in type of situation where you leave your tax forms and they'll do it up for you. So I'm going to go in downtown and check that out today, and hopefully I can make some progress because I really need to get it filed. So I got some real important real life stuff to do this afternoon, unfortunately. But after that's done, then I'll be on with Gorilla on his Walton's review stream, as we do every Friday. And that should be a lot of fun. So then I can actually relax and have a bit of fun tonight. That's 5 Pacific, or 5 Pacific time. Yeah, 5 my time. So you guys can work out your time zone thing. And I guess that's about it for today that I planned. Well, maybe laundry tonight later on. But as far as my channel goes, I'm going to be putting some albums up by the punk goth band The Damned. I've got one of their albums up already, Machine Gun Etiquette, which is my favorite. I think it's an absolutely masterpiece. Are you familiar with The Damned, Jill? Because I know you're a punk.
I've heard of them. Right? Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. You really should check them out. Just my recommendation. But I'm going to be putting some more of their albums up this weekend. I'm going to put their first album up, which they were actually the first UK band to release a punk single and a punk album on their first album. I think they beat the Sex Pistols by about 6 months getting their album up. So they are a significant band from 1976. Dave Vanian, the vocalist, has been singing the whole time. They're touring, and I'm going to see them in Vancouver next month with my cousin. We got tickets at the Commodore Ballroom, which is less than 1,000 people capacity. So we're hoping to get right up in front of the stage, because the stage is only about 4 feet high, right? So I'm going to be posting some of their albums. Yeah, they're got some very good songs. In fact, they got so many good songs. That's the problem, because I think their current playlist is only around 25 songs, and there's no way they're going to play all their best stuff in 25 songs, right? So that'll be interesting. But yeah, anyway, I know I'm motor mouthing like I usually do, but
well, you're excited about it, and it is related to your channel. But thank you, and of course, next Friday we're going to review Escape from New York for your birthday, because your birthday's on Wednesday, and so on Friday we're going to review that, and that's going to be super fun.
Yeah, and I say thank you, Jill. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And on Tuesday, I'm not going to be doing Star Trek Continues this week, because my daughter is graduating from preschool. So
yay!
Cool.
So we're gonna we'll have a fun day. Probably ice cream or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What's her major in preschool?
In preschool, sight words and addition.
Nice, good work.
Well, there you go. Addition. It sounds like she's following in Jill's footsteps with math.
Yeah, right. She only has to count, but she decided to learn how to add too.
Oh, geez, I still have. I'm not sure if I still mastered those skills, actually, Jill.
Well, in any case, actually, because I'm going to be having fun with my daughter on Tuesday, I decided to not do Star Trek this week, or continue this week. And on Wednesday, we're going to have a special shore leave where everybody, subscribers
members.
But everybody will be able to see it'll be a public live stream and a public chat, but there's going to be a panel link for members only. So if you're a member of this channel, you'll be able to come up and talk, and we'll just have basically a shore leave.
Yeah, I work Wednesdays anyway. So besides, I haven't become a member yet, unfortunately. But I'm working anyway,
okay.
So it's no big deal for me.
You have to work on your birthday?
Yes, I do.
Boo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think most adults do not get their birthday off. So
I am not an adult.
Well, let's put it this way. My boss is, as far as work hours go, I can pretty much shift days if I need to, but I don't think birthday would be a good enough excuse, really. And besides, if I didn't work on Wednesday, then I'd have to work on Friday, and that would suck. So
I was just saying what I'm doing this week. And so,
sorry.
And so
I'll shut up now.
That's okay. No, that's all right. And so we had a good day today, I think, and we had a little bit of fun here, random fun, kind of a mini shore leave at the end here, as a matter of fact. But we had a good time earlier before that talking about time crimes. And so hopefully somebody doesn't think we spent 3 hours talking about time crimes, because it only took us 2. And I guess we got to visit Hector and see him. Oh, I forgot about the asking the poll. That would have been perfect. People would have had an hour to answer
Oh, darn.
whether or not they believed it was believable for Hector's personality to change so much from Hector 1 to Hector 3, which I still want to know. But now I'll never know that answer.
We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up during the members.
Anyway, it's a good question. I'm sorry I forgot about it. And and what would have happened if Hector would have just left well enough alone from the beginning? Who knows?
And don't
because
forget about
he didn't.
Susan Eckstein and Tony's thing.
We had a good.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, right. I think I definitely did promote that and spam that, and so definitely go to Tony's stream. It's starting in just 1 minute. So yes, I did bring up the link so many times I can just scroll up myself and find it, because that'll just be a wall of text of Tony's link. Where is it? Oh man, how am I not finding it? I
It's
posted
all
it
right.
like
It's up there.
20,000 times.
Scroll up.
It
Not
is. Okay, there it is. Visit Stark of Iron at 3 p.m. Central Time for Suzanne's fundraiser today to help her get her running water. He's going to use his pipes to fix her pipes. It sounds worse when I say it. And at this link right here. But without that last backslash, that's why I had to post it so many times.
So there's a backstory, I guess, to Suzanne getting her pipes lost again. Because I remember, didn't she have
find out all about it on Tony Stark's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had trouble like
just
6
1
months
minute.
ago, I think. But,
Yeah,
oh, well, anyway.
yeah, just right now. Yeah,
Time
so
to go, I
we'll
guess.
see. Yeah, definitely. And
you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
And then, yeah, so everybody have a wonderful Friday. We'll see you next time.
You too.
For joining us for this wacky time travel movie. I really enjoyed it. It's not even a wacky time travel movie. I'm wrong. It's a very concise, well thought out time travel movie. The only wacky person is Hector. He's just like, anyway.
Yeah, I didn't care for Hector. I got to be honest there.
But it is, I think it's really well written and a very good movie. And I'll see you all next time.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Or am I closing video? Yeah. Oh, actually, and I updated my membership list, so you will see. If you're a member, you'll know you're a member because I updated it as of yesterday. And
Oh,
so
that's
so not this week, but the week after this coming week, here are the next Star Trek Continues episodes that will resume on May. Oh, my calendar's not coming up. May 21st. May 21st, Star Trek Continues will continue with these episodes.
Our sister world opposes our desire to join the Federation. They will stop at nothing to prevent it.
Target acquired, Captain.
We're losing weapons, Locke.
Captain.
Fire phases.
Why are you here? What do you want with the captain?
Humans bury feelings of heartbreak and loss. We lock them away.
What places do you think it is?
Intelligence.
Wars on overload!
This procedure is not successful. We'll lose all 3 of you.
The tissue damage is severe. Fire on the ship like
We're not.
What can you do here?
We're gonna have to amputate below the knee.
and the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.